Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
I don't know if you guys can hear anything or not, but I'm getting literally nothing out of my speakers. So you guys are going to have to give me a second and let me figure out what is going on with my setup here. I don't know if you guys are hearing anything, if you guys are hearing my my morning song, but I have no sound coming from my system at all. And I don't know why. Yes, you guys could hear it. Okay, so I don't know why I can't. Hold on a second, folks. Maybe this will help. Let's see if I can get some sound coming out now. Yep, okay.
Step one, wake
It's
up,
not playing on my end. I don't know what's going on. I can hear this one,
Step three,
but I can't hear my first one. So let me figure out what the heck's going on here.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
True crime, and we are the loudest channel on YouTube. It's nice to see everybody this morning getting in here. I'm having some technical issues. I don't know if you guys could hear the original song, the first song, or not. It was not coming out of my earpiece. Every other song was coming out of my earpiece. Every other song was set up just fine. I couldn't hear the first song. I'm sorry that we couldn't hear Wake Up With a Great Day song, but I couldn't hear it. I didn't know what you guys could hear. It looked like it was playing, but I couldn't hear it. I don't know why I couldn't hear that song, but I couldn't hear that song. Everything else I heard. Now, Melanie, for those that are just coming in, we're doing something a little different. I don't know if you guys remember these cards called Affirmation for a Badass, okay? So I was sitting here thinking, and I looked at these cards. We played around with them for a little bit, and I'm like, we never really did anything with these cards. So I figured from here on out, anybody that donates and does like Melanie here has done, $5 or more, I'm going to shuffle these cards, and I'm going to pull and see what kind of badass you are. So you get 5 cards, and we're going to see how badass Melanie is. There's no rhyme or reason for these cards. I'm just going to shuffle them, and then I'm just going to pull 5 out. And we're going to read them. I think it'll be fun. Since she already kicked it off this morning, I'm going to go ahead and read how badass Melanie is. Let's see how badass Melanie is. Okay, so here's your 5 cards, Melanie. It says, don't try to fit in. You are born to stand out. That's card 1 for you. You are magic. Own that shit. I'm enough. I am me. So, this is a bad word. Hold on. I am enough. I am me. I am so effing worth it. Remember that. You are so effing worth it. Okay, you are a effing amazing rock that S. Some of these words are pretty. There you go. There's your card. Some people are really sick, so avoid them. We have brain cancer in this country. So how badass are you? So everybody that donates this morning, we will be reading a badass. We're going to be pulling 5 cards and reading how badass you are. And they're more of affirmations. So she, it's to pick your stuff up. We've been pushing for positivity, right? And we haven't really been getting a whole lot of positive. I mean, people have been talking about remarks related to the cases, but we want positivity. We want some positivity. So I figured this would be a great way to bring some positivity to our channel. It's nice to see you all here. Let's go down and just say hi to everybody before we get started. We do have a long show today. We have a lot of different topics we are going to be going over. I'll keep these out in case somebody else wants to participate. It's anything over $5. So if you guys just want to help out and throw something here and there, that's fine. I appreciate everything. But if you want your cards to be read, it's $5 or more. Let's see here. Melanie, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too. J.A. Money, it's nice to see you up in the house this morning. Earth to Ashley, good morning. Pebbles. Melanie, Groovy Gal up in the house. Daffy Dog, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too. Pebbles. Plant Lady, good morning. Panda Bear's mom, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Crystal Pistol up in the house. Phil, it's nice to see you. Grave Crime with Grace. Busy mom at home. Aw, that's so sweet. Busby Adventure. Oh, it's been a while since we've seen you. Nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. People don't know he was out looking for Sebastian Rogers. He was the gentleman in the wheelchair going around and doing what he could, even disabled. People did what they could. It was absolutely very, very, very much appreciative. So thank you for all of that. Denise, it's nice to see you, my love. Good morning. We got Nightbot rolling through, helping us out with some moderations. Pebbles, if I forgot to say hi to you. Vicky, good morning. Who else do we have? I think we got just about everybody. Let me keep moving here. Oh, Show Poodles is up in the house. Narita. Sandwich, it's nice to see you. V. Oakley, good morning, loves. I hope you guys are doing well. So I get up, I'm preparing the day this morning, just preparing the day. I've been getting up earlier. You guys know I've been working on trying to get up earlier so I can get prepared. I find that I thrive the best early in the morning. So I want to be up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning because I get so much more work done than getting up later in the day, which, when I start getting closer to the end of the year, getting around my birthday, I don't know if many of you guys suffer from it, but I suffer from seasonal depression. And it's something I dealt with literally my entire life. It seems like the last quarter of every single year is kind of the roughest for me. I've got to say, like last year and this year, they've been pretty rough because some of the stuff I've been going through in a personal, but for the most part, things have been relieved a little bit. Hey, blessed, happy Nana. It's nice to see you, love bug. It's one of those things where I feel, I feel better, but it's just something that I kind of start sliding into, start getting in later and later. I get kind of humbuggy. So this year, like last year, I did not decorate for, I was going through a lot of personal stuff, so I didn't decorate for anything last year. This year, I never have Halloween folks come by and stuff like that, even though Delilah is going to be decorated, and I actually might be decorated. I might go over to my best friend's house just to have some semblance of a Halloween, because there's just nothing that goes on this street for me, and occasionally, in my other neighborhood over off of 64, down by the interstate and stuff like that, man, we went through like 30 and 40 pounds of candy, like ridiculous. Like it was literally a small budget that we had to budget every year for Thanksgiving. We had so many kids. It was just gorgeous. We got to see some of the cutest. And then when we moved over here, it was like I was used to buying the 20, 30, and 40 pounds of freaking candy. And so my first year in this house, I did what I did for the other house. Not one person came by. I have been here for 12 years, and I haven't had the first trick-or-treater at this house. So I keep some candy around this house just in case, somebody comes and knocks on the door. I don't want to say, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have anything for you, right? So I keep some little hard candies around the house just in case. And if somebody does come by here, they'll get something, right? But I'm not filling my house full of, 20, 30, 40 pounds of candy. And I'm glad I'm not, because I've quit smoking. And I find it's a lot more difficult to stay away from candy when you've quit smoking, okay? I have gained 10 pounds over the last 3 months. I'm not happy about it, okay? I'm not happy about it. Something's got to be done here, okay, folks? I'm just saying. When things start getting tight around Betty's waist, I don't like it. I just don't like it. We got to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these damn Coca-Colas that I'm putting down my hatch. I just don't know. I don't know. But I'm feeling, I'm feeling a little better. I went from the smokes to the vapes, and, it helped a little bit, with the breathing and stuff like that. But it was really hard. It wasn't as hard stepping. I got to say, the hardest part of all this was going from the smoke to the vape. That was the hardest for me, and I did that all the way back in 2021. And I remember, I tell people this all the time because, it was a Jonathan thing. He hated the smoking. He hates smoking. He hates the smell of smoking. So he wanted me to quit. So he said, he suggested the vape. We were out there at Gabby Petito. Every time I needed to smoke, I had to go away from all the cameras and crew because nobody smokes. It's an offensive odor, whatever. So I was constantly walking down the road and this, that, and the other. And I remember, so I'm like, okay, well, fine. I'll try the vape. If I can stay here and not take a freaking walk, why not? I'll do the vape. So I tried the, which one? A Juul, I think is what it was. And that's what I started out with. And because I was Marlboro all the way, it's like you can't mimic that flavor. I knew if I didn't go to like a, if I went to just regular, it'd have to taste the same. So I went to a menthol, and that's what helped me get through that. But that was horrible. And I remember I was so moody that Jonathan turned around one day. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you just need to go get freaking cigarettes, just go get the freaking cigarettes. Oh, maybe I bit his head off a little too much. I'm sorry, I didn't know. But now I don't have to worry about that. I'm not searching for the vapes anymore. So somebody told me that I should probably, do some CBD stuff to go to bed. But I don't do anything. Like I haven't drank in years. I haven't, the only thing I was really trying to get off of was the nicotine. And it appears that as of right now, we have stopped. No patches, no vapes, no nothing. We're in the clear. I recommend everybody, if you can, please do it. It took me years
years of fighting to try to quit to get to this point. So I'm very happy. I'm very pleased. And I'm glad that the stuff is subsiding. Oh, it's nice to see you, Amelia. Daisy Duke, it's nice to see you. Sonia, I don't know if I said hi to you this morning. Rose, it's nice to see you. Sandwich, I think I said hi to you, but if I didn't, hey. All right, guys, I got to tell you, when I got up this morning and I was going through my day, the first thing I was doing is I was looking at, what's going on with Kada Scott's case, what's the updates on the Tennessee explosion, what's our updates on our politics, right? We've been because our entire world has gone crazy, right? And it looks like we're kind of careening toward some type of a WAR, and we don't know what kind, but it feels like every day we're getting a little closer and a little closer. So we here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, we're going to keep you up to date. Now, I'm very political. I'm very red side of the aisle kind of political. So I try to, tamper that down a little bit out of the respect of other people. But in this kind of environment, it's getting harder for me to do that. So if it's something that you don't want, I'll let you guys know when we start getting into the politics. Actually, you'll always know when we start getting into the conversation about politics. I always try to start it out with something funny, right? So when you start seeing the political comedy, then we're getting into the conversation. I try to get us in and get us out because we're going to be doing a show on our new channel, which is Right Move Broadcasting. We're going to start taking certain topics of conversation. I think the one that we're going to be doing next, and I haven't started developing that show yet, but I will. I'll try to start working on that today and getting a timeline together for the show. It's the different types of explosives. I think it's very important for us to understand that, even though it's a political talking point, but we have a situation in Tennessee where an entire building was turned to rubble. And we want to understand why that was. And I also think that what we were looking at in that photo, we're going to go over that. I think we were misrepresenting it. I think, what I think was a basement. I don't think it's a basement. I think it's the portion of the building that's still standing. I was looking at it and looking at it and looking at it again, and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I'm misrepresenting this, because what we might be seeing there is the rubble on top of a standing portion of the building that's making it look like a road because of the debris that's kind of sitting on top of that. So we're going to take, we're leaving the Tennessee explosion conversation to the very end of this show. And we're going to be looking and kind of honing in on the photo. I'd like to make sense of what I'm seeing here. I need your help to do it, because I thought I was looking at a basement. And then I kept analyzing, maybe from overanalyzation, which happens. We have those problems where we look at a photo for so long, we start seeing things, right? And that's not good. So sometimes it's just great. Oh, hey, D Mystery. It's nice to see you, love. Archaholic, good morning. Good morning, loves. I hope you're doing well. So I noticed that we have a tendency of, when we're analyzing these things, possibly looking at something a little too long. And so while I was looking at it, I'm analyzing, and I'm thinking, what if that isn't a basement? What if that is the only portion of the building that is standing? And so that actually might be more in line of what we're looking at there versus a basement. And then that, I think, could tell us something even more important. If the front half of the building, or that portion, that side portion of the building, is still there, well, we know that the explosion didn't happen there. So of anything else, if we do find that that is a portion of standing building, well, we're going to be having another conversation, because now we're starting to see where the explosions may have happened. And now we can start honing in on how their that particular building was set up, how their conveyor belt, so to speak, was set up, like who did what, what type of stuff were they manufacturing in that particular building. Obviously, it was heavily combustible components and items and materials because we have a plant that's leveled. Now, there's still the possibility that this was a terroristic type of situation. I don't think that's off the table just yet. Literally a time, exactly, sandwich. But I do believe that this was, this was a failure. Either a failure of the folks, I don't ever want to victim shame or blame, because let's face it, they dealt with a lot of stuff. They go there every day. May have, been so comfortable with the materials that they were looking for, took the materials and the lethality for granted. There's the possibility of that. But anyways, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves on that conversation. We'll get there. It's at the end of the show. Right now, we're going to be getting started with the jewelry heist. And trust me, I didn't misspell the jewelry in my... I know it looks like I misspelled it, but I didn't. It happened in Paris, okay? It's like a James Bond. Like, do we have James Bond music? Can we put some James Bond music on, please? I don't think it's this. This is not James Bond music. It's just not. It's not James Bond's music. But we need James Bond music because how often do we see a jewelry heist from a museum? I mean, this is a James Bond movie, right? We don't hear about this stuff, but we have to know that these movies came from something. Even though we're not the world travelers, we don't know what goes on overseas. And believe me, it doesn't take our airways like it does overseas, but James Bond, he wasn't from America. He had the accent the entire time. I'm Bond. James Bond. That was more of a, I don't even know what, I don't even know what voice that was. It sounded like a little Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know. What did he say? I can't remember. Anyways, I'm going to stop. It happened to Kim Kardashian in Paris too. Wow, interesting. I missed that because you guys know occasionally I do the entertainment world, whatever, right? So this is like a real life heist, like a jewelry heist at the Louvre, if I'm pronouncing it right, the Louvre Museum. Like it's like top of the line over here. I don't even know if that's kind of cross. I don't even know if I don't do personalities. I don't do good language because I don't know what they sound like. Okay, I'm deaf in one ear. Okay, it's in Paris. That's about as Paris as I get. Where did this happen? Paris. Paris. Okay. All right, I'm done. Okay, we had fun. So we have this massive jewelry heist that happened where the heister, is that what they call them? Crossing the accent. That's what I was thinking. I think I got something. I don't know what I'm doing over here, right? One of my uncles, my step uncle, was French Canadian, so the way the wee, that, hey baby, so I do have some more French, I've been around French accents more than anything else because of my uncle, right? Hey baby, how you doing? Yeah, just anyways. God rest his soul, he's then passed away. But he was French Canadian, and so I've got a little more than not. But Sandwich is saying in 2016, Kim Kardashian was robbed at gunpoint in Paris, a Paris apartment with a group of thieves who stole approximately $10 million in jewelry, including her $4 million engagement ring. Oh my goodness. But it always makes me wonder how many of these are set up, because all this stuff is insured out the wazoo, and I just don't trust the elite anymore. They're dirty, rotten scoundrels, okay? I'm sorry, they're just not like us, okay? They don't live like us. They're just dirty, immoral creatures. Even Kim Kardashian, I don't like her. She's going to screw up every single one of her kids that she has. They're going to be so fucking... I don't like them. And I don't like that they have children and they think their children are these freaking pets. Gives them pets and pet names and stuff like that. What the hell are you doing to your kids in Hollywood, folks? Like, what? What are you going to do when you have no money and they're stuck being nobodies and have this kind of name? Like, what? Anyways, I can tell you that the music industry is being taken over by people that aren't being represented. This whole social media stuff has changed the dynamic for everything. You know, people that were passed up for being able to do movies now can prepare their own movies, put them on these in social media and get paid for them. Along with music videos, there's more people right now doing their own music videos and getting really, really lots and lots and lots of attention. Like Jessie, what's her name? The little girl. She's cute. She's cute as a button. You know, the one that sings, "Baby, I like whips and chains." You know what I'm talking about, right? Murph. Is that what her name is? Jessie Murph. I'm pretty sure she started out on social media. I'm pretty sure, like even David, like we're talking about Celeste and David. You know, he started his social media. Social media. So the producers and stuff like that, we're not even needing those people anymore. But we're also finding out a lot of different things that we did not know in the process. You know, the internet is a double-edged sword, like giving us layouts of the neveu, right? If I'm saying that right. And telling people how, you know, with ChatGPT, might be giving them instructions, step-by-step instructions on how to break into places like the neveu, right? But, you know, Kim Kardashian, much different because somebody robbed her at gunpoint. Real heists really don't, there's no violence in the heists. If you've noticed, the most professional heist, they probably don't even bring a weapon with them. You know, because they have things to do. Their craft is getting in, getting out, and taking it unseen. That's the beauty of many of these heisters. Like that's the thing in it for themselves. Like a lot of these people that do these things, you know, of course, their first heist probably pays for them. They probably have money that they're still living off of a first heist. After that point, it's more, in my opinion, almost like a serial unaliver, because they're compelled to do it. And I feel like some of these heisters are compelled to do it. It's like, you know, they got away with this one. This one was really trying. This one, it took a lot of skill and stuff like this one took a lot of skill. But not. It seemed very generic. If we're going to hear about how they got in, and it seems very generic and very kind of like, I wonder why they were able to do this. How somebody could not figure that some things were able to be robbed. Let's hear about this. So they're saying, here are the details of the robbery that took place at the Paris Le Museum on Sunday. This just happened yesterday while we're all in church praying. Jewels were being stolen, folks. Jewels were being stolen. We had somebody like James Bond doing James Bond maneuvers, getting into this museum and getting away with a whatever. It seems pretty big. The thieves pulled up outside of the on Sunday morning along on a road along the Seine, I can't pronounce it, river, and climbed an extendable ladder. Seems very generic, doesn't it? And climbed an extended ladder to break in an upper window that looked into the Galerie des Apollon. Apollo Gallery. The Apollo Gallery. I need to stop with my French. I do not do good French. The Culture Ministry said the following 8 pieces were stolen. The tiara from the jewelry set of Queen Mary Emily? Is that right? Emily? And Queen Hortense? I'm sure I butchered that up. But the tiara, that thing probably was expensive. Necklace from sapphire jewelry set of Queen. So these are the Queen's sets. Emerald necklace from Marie Louise set. A pair of emerald earrings. I wonder how much all of this is worth. A brooch known as the reliquary brooch, tiara Empress Eugenie, and a large brooch. These were some nice pieces, it sounds like. I mean, probably some pretty gaudy large pieces. In 1661, after a fire broke out at the Louvre, Louis, entrusted architect Louis Louvre to create a gallery reflecting a new emblem, the sun. They still didn't tell us how much this is. I really could care less about the facility. I want to know how much the stash was worth. They don't tell us what the stash was worth. Let's see if it's on this one. Looted. Tell us what the gems are worth. Oh, look at that. There's one of the tiaras right there. Wow, beautiful. And it's actually kind of surprising that they don't put any photos. So there's the Apollo gallery, and there's the window. Can you guys see this on the screen? Oh, no, hold on. Let me move this so you guys can see it. Sorry. Let me move this up just a tad so you guys can see it. So this is where they're saying that this happened. So here's the Apollo gallery, and they're saying that somebody pulled up. Here's the river. Like, this seems so obvious. It seems like they would have protected themselves from this. Anyways, maybe an inside job? B. Oakley says $10 million. Well, we're hearing that the $10 million might have been what it was for $10 million plus $4 million wedding ring. That's $14 million from Kim Kardashian in this area. Hey, who knows? Maybe they're low on money. Maybe they need about $10 million every few years. I don't know. So it looks like they scaled an extendable ladder up to the second window, and that's where they entered into this Apollo gallery. I like this. This one at least gives us an idea of what we're looking at here. And then you can't really see it, but it's like a necklace, a tiara, and a necklace. Wish they did. You'd think that they'd have better photos of the items missing. So there, you guys can't even see it, but this is the window that they broke into. And they still won't tell us the estimate of the jewelry heist. Not in any article that we've had has had an estimate of the jewels. Maybe the jewels are priceless. I don't know. Maybe the jewels are priceless, and you guys can't even hardly see because this wasn't even up right. I have to go back through there and. So here's the museum. It's actually a gorgeous museum. That's kind of the museum right there. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. There's the museum, and here's some of the jewelry. This article does have some of the jewelry listed in it. Let me see if I can show that a little better. There it is. There's one of the tiaras. This is the tiara of Queen Marie Emily. This looks like it's Emily, like, you know, what we would call E-M-I-L-Y, but it's A-M-E-L-I-E, but I still think it's Emily, the proper pronunciation of that, but I could be wrong. But there's one of the, you can see the jewels. These jewels are very old and probably pristine jewels. It sounds like these came from, these are probably priceless. I don't know, $10 million. It seems like this right here would be valued at like $10 million. It is beautiful. And then I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me just go down here a little bit further because they have, there it is. I didn't know if you guys saw that. So there's the museum, and as you guys can see, like right here, here's the Apollo gallery. This is where all the stuff was. So you're talking about somebody that had to have gone into this gallery, into this museum, and saw where these pieces were being positioned. And would have to know whether they were taken into like a vault at night or if they were going to be on view at this museum. And then it tells you, another thing, because usually when these museums get these rare antiquities that they can showcase, like some of these things are, they go from museum to showcase at these museums. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes along with those things. In there may be like advertisements, like to draw people in that they're going to be having XYZ on display, and people know how much these things are, and if they looked at this or came into this museum, they may know where the breaches in security could be, or it could be, let's face it, an inside job. So that's it. I just thought it was going to be interesting that we have, you know, this real life heist. Like, I don't know. I feel like we have a real life heist here, you know? So now we're going to get into it. So if you guys want to go, we got the jewelry heist. So now we're going to be going into, we got we got two little comedy skits. We're going to get into our government and political talking points right now. So if this is something, maybe now would be a great time for you to go make breakfast, go make coffee, and get yourself right this morning if this is not something that you want to watch. But we're going to watch it here as a channel for those of you that want to stick around. So here we go. I found this maybe dry humor. I actually laughed. I laughed. So I figured you.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Apparently there's been a little bit of a confusion about what we stand for as a movement. So I'm just going to list out what we stand for, and then I'll take questions at the end, okay? Okay, so we're pro-individual liberty, we're pro-constitution, we're pro-life, we're pro-free speech, we're pro-religious liberty, we're pro-women in women's sports only. We're pro-preserving children's minds and bodies from transitioning as minors. We're pro-Second Amendment, we're pro-legal immigration, and we're pro-limiting big government. We're pro-free markets, and we're pro-fiscal responsibility. We're pro-law and order and pro-energy independence. We're pro-school choice, and we're pro-keeping woke ideologies out of education. Okay, any questions? Yes. Yeah, just a quick question. Do we love Hitler? No, we do not love Hitler. No. So not even like a tiny bit. Just a small, I mean, just, you know, like that much. Just a tiny, tiny bit. No, not even a tiny bit. In fact, if you love Hitler or like Hitler or have an affinity for Hitler in any way, you're not part of the movement, okay? This isn't hard.
We don't want violence. We're the party. We just want world peace. Folks, we just want world peace. But if you want to know what happens, how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get here? I don't know. I think John Kennedy's going to have to make us understand. I don't understand. John Kennedy, can you help us? Can you help us, please? Can you help us just understand a little bit? Oh, let me go back here and get these things out of here. If I don't get them out of here, then I'll forget to get them out of here. Alright, come on, my brother. Move your ass on, okay? We ain't doing it today. You don't have to have time for your business. Alright. So how do we get here? Right? How does our own party not know what we like? Well, we like a monster just a little bit. No, we don't like monsters. We don't like monsters. We like seeing them in jail. We like seeing monsters in jail. But hey, you know what? How did we get here? I'm sure John Kennedy's going to make sure we understand how we got here.
Brain is an amazing organ. It starts working in a mother's womb, and it doesn't stop working until you get elected to Congress. The brain is an...
Okay, so now we know how did we lose our brain cells? Of course, it's Congress. Of course it would be Congress. Of course it'd be Congress. All right, who's this guy? This guy is Benny Johnson. We're Benny Johnson fans here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And he's doing this skit, where is this at? I don't even remember where this is at. This was sent out by Don Jr., but it was from, I want to say Newsmax. I think Newsmax, he does a Benny's report on Newsmax. And anyways, it was a funny skit, but kind of not funny. Let me see where I'm at with it. Oh, Yes. Oh, yes. Okay, we do have to watch this. I'm sorry. I forgot we're going into, we've got the comedy. I got this out of order because I have the story of the shutdown and then Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome was supposed to be next, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the disease of Trump derangement syndrome right now. So here we go. We will be here for a while, folks.
Both sides, the establishment Republicans, establishment Democrats, our corrupt media, tech, foreign nations, corporations, brands, Hollywood, Wall Street, the billionaire class, all of them openly colluding to remove President Trump from office. Why? Why did they work so hard, risk everything to defeat this president? Life was really good under this president. What threat did Donald Trump pose? The answer to this question explains so much about the past 4 years, and it explains a lot about where we're going. It explains what's happening now. So, let's ask the question. Why did the elites hate Donald Trump? After all, Donald Trump was like them. He was rich and famous, powerful. He had TV shows, nice homes and properties. Many of them knew Trump, by the way. They invited him into their parties, said nice things about him in public.
That is also, and you know what, of all people, guess who one of the people that actually approached him to run for president? You will actually be utterly surprised. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey. The same one that has done everything she can to attack him because he took money out of their pocket, right? He's tired of these elites stealing from the American people to live the lifestyles that they have. It's time to pull down the mask.
They accepted his political donations gladly. While he was a student at Harvard University, Barack Obama praised Donald Trump as a symbol of success in America. I may not be Donald Trump now, but just you wait. If I don't make it, my children will. That's an exact quote from President Obama.
Interesting. It is interesting that this man was highly regarded until he ran for president and said he was done having people robbing the American people blind. And then all these people that had been rooting him on to become president all of a sudden turncoated on him. Why? Because he was here to save us.
Then student Obama. You won't hear us say this much on our show, but Obama was right. Trump is the personification of working for success. And that success is the American dream. That's why Trump was never one of them, the elite. He worked for his fortune. Trump built things, changed things. And when Donald Trump announced that he was running for president, this made an already paranoid establishment sneer. Trump went about campaigning the way he had built his business, by swinging a sledgehammer. It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done. Trump ridiculed the political elites, made fun of them, humiliated them. Things you were not allowed to do. Who can forget these moments?
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell. I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct.
Amen.
I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better.
So if you don't get an actual check from the Mexican government for $8 or $10 or $12 billion, whatever it will cost, how are you going to make them pay for the wall?
I will, and the wall just got 10 feet taller, believe me. It's got 10 feet taller.
Classic.
This is why they hated him. You know why? Because he made them look like idiots. Because they have been lying to the people and manipulating the people so long. He knew. All he needed to do was just show the people. Just a little step forward. Show the people how ridiculous this is. He made us laugh at these people. He made politics Hilarious. Come on, folks. Half America was tuning in just to see what he was tweeting. Come on. You know that's true. You know that's true. We have a book. One of the Front Row Joe's people created a book of all the tweets, all of President Trump's tweets. Remember how angry they were? He wouldn't stay off Twitter. How unpolitical that, or what was it? Unpresidential that was to go to Twitter and wield a hammer. Remember that? How shocked and offended that they were because he was tweeting? A president tweeting? Oh my God! It was the end of the world. Oh, well, I gotta say, it seems like it must have rubbed off on them a little bit, because then all of a sudden, the Democrat Party went a little cray-cray on the video and the dance parties, right? They're like, oh my gosh, he was able to write mean tweets. Let's go out here and show them that we're cool. Let's do, I don't know, let's do Kumbaya. Kumbaya, look at us, we're kumbayaing, everybody. Let's go out and have a dance party. Let's get Jasmine Crockett. Let's get her on board so she can shake her booty on one of our social medias. Let's get her on TikTok. Let's show TikTok we're hip. We're hip. If he can do it, we can do it better. Right? No, you can't. Okay, I'm sorry. There's one thing that I can finally say that the I used to always think the Republicans had sticks up their butt. I was always so angry. Like, I loved being a Republican, but I hated being a Republican because we always took the high road, It was like, oh, we're Christians. We got to take the high road. Many of us just said, no, let's get out in the gutter, right? Let's come on, let's take them down. They're like, no, we got to go. We need to go pray for them. Okay, well, let's go pray for them. It's not really helping a lot, but let's go pray for them, right? And then finally, we realized we had a Charlie Kirk that said, God never told us we needed to be nice. He just told us we needed to be truthful. And we're like, okay, let's pull some ponytails and get them dirty, baby. All right, let's get back on it.
You remember those moments. And the permanent political class in our country do too. They're so weak. They're so feeble. They're so Fabergé. So translucent-skinned and frightened of being made fun of. That's exactly what Trump did. And they crumbled when he did it. They folded and ran. Trump got the nomination, and then he continued his warpath against the queen of corruption herself, the absolute embodiment of the permanent political establishment, Hillary Clinton.
Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you this. So, I'm following like Don Jr., okay? I gotta tell you this. It's hilarious. And I was hook, line, and sinker. I don't know how I was hook, line, and sinker into this post. I pushed the play button, okay? I wish I wouldn't have pushed the play button. So Don Jr. says, oh my God, serious as a heart attack. I don't know how we did this, but you will be amazed. There was a recent video showing Michael Jackson is alive. Okay? So I'm already in here. Okay? Michael Jackson. Okay? And he's like, back when we lived at so-and-so, I used to play video games at his house. I know what he looks like. He is alive. We just saw him on the news. And so I'm like, my brain for this split second, right? I'm going through all these things. Okay, so they saw Michael Jackson. Why would Michael Jackson lie? And the next thing, did somebody go to jail for unaliving him? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Whispering Winds, Mama Jax, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Erna, good morning. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Thank you, Whispering Winds, for reminding everybody. Thank you, love. I appreciate it. So I'm like, so I'm watching this, thinking, oh my gosh, Michael Jackson was on the news. I don't know how I got, because this is the same thing that they did like 2 years ago. It's Nancy Pelosi. I'm hook, line, and sinker in this. Now, this video's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes long, so I'm waiting, and he keeps talking. I'm like, get to the damn point. So I finally get frustrated about about 2.5 minutes into Don Jr. explaining how he knows that this is Michael Jackson. So I finally just fast forward. I wanted to see Michael Jackson. And it was Nancy Pelosi. It was Nancy Pelosi on the news. I just thought you guys should know that. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch the skit. It was hilarious.
Can you forget these moments?
Well, at least I have a plan to fight ISIS.
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Now you guys know why you hate.
That's part of my commitment to raise taxes on the wealthy. My Social Security payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund by making...
We have a situation in this country that has to be taken care of. I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. As soon as she releases them, I will release.
This is why the swamp came after him. This is why the swamp wanted to see him in jail. They tried to throw him in jail for the rest of his life. Like, Hillary Clinton has more bodies that she has not been charged with than anybody I've known. She is a murderer, okay? Hillary Clinton, come arrest me. I'd love to get in there into your discovery to prove my case. I believe absolutely 100% that woman right there is an evil, murderous bitch. I'm glad she did not run our country. As a matter of fact, I'd love to see nothing but her family financially destroyed for what they've done to America. Including Chelsea.
My tax returns, and that's against my lawyers.
Love him or hate him, Trump called the political establishment out. He called their corruption out to their faces, literally their faces. He gave America a different fighting flavor of politics, and America loved it. The elites did not.
No, he gave us our voice back. He let us all, for years and years and years. Let's talk about the rise of Donald Trump. For years and years and years, we've all known these things were going on. He was the one man that promised us if they were going on that he would expose it. And he has. He has in the biggest way, and they knew he was coming in, and if he got elected, he was going to expose everything. Because he's a true American person. He's a true American leader, and we needed an American leader, somebody that was not the political class, to go in there and tell us, the people, what truly is going on, because we knew deep in our stomach there was something not right, and you have seen what they have done for the last decade to try to stop that information out and keep it from us. And we kept fighting, and people believed. They finally got to see Donald Trump would not be president right now if it wasn't for Democrats and independents. So don't sit there and think that the MAGA movement is so big that we can get a man elected. It took everybody. He won the popular vote. He won all of the states that needed to be won. He won a lot. We went from like, there is hardly blue in America right now. Nobody trusts the Democrat Party anymore. I mean, there might be a few of you guys that do, but for the most part, nobody trusts them. Nobody trusts them. Why? Because if you look over the last decade, what policies have resonated with you from the Democrat Party? None. All they've wanted was foreign interests and illegals. That's their talking points. Just now, all of a sudden, it's they've had us in this Obamacare for over decades, right? We've been, 12, 15 years, 20 years now? I can't remember when we voted. I think it was 2012, maybe. So 13 years we've been in this Obamacare bullcrap, and now they want to talk about it. They didn't want to save it when they were in charge. They didn't want to do anything when they were in charge. Now it's a wedge issue for Donald Trump. It's funny how that happens. The program is shit. The program, Betty, your buttons aren't working. What do you mean my buttons aren't working? They should be. Can you guys hear that? It should be. Can you guys hear my buttons? No? You guys can't hear my buttons? What is going on with my, See, I don't like that. That's going to give me feedback. I don't know. I've been having problems with the audio. Okay, well then now I'll use these. Thank you for letting me know. We'll have to use the ones that are here. I don't know why that's not going through. I've been having some audio issues because even my first show would not play this morning. But thank you for letting me know that my stuff is not working on here. I don't know why my stuff would not be working on here, but we've been having issues. Let me go over here and just make sure there's something didn't go sideways on me since then. No, it says USB, so I should have full ability to, you know. I wonder if my voice looks like it should have been low, pretty low as well, which sucks. I don't know what's going on. It's coming through. I don't know. Oh well. I'm not gonna worry with it. Yeah, you heard the horn because it's a physical button. The other ones are on my sound card. I've got a whole sound card here that lets me change my voice, but if it's not working, it's not working. So I don't think it's working. I don't think anything on my sound card's working today. So I don't know if it's plugged in. Makes a noise. You're fine. Oh no, sorry to hear that. What does it say? And I've been seeing these mysteries to get a hold of you. So I figured I would put a bunch of... Oh, okay, gotcha. Alright, well thank you. I appreciate that. So I think we're almost done with this. I think I got another 30 seconds.
Obviously. So they did everything they could to sabotage the campaign of a man who was humiliating them, including openly lying to the American public. That's their specialty, by the way, openly lying.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
Yeah, they were going in. I'm not going to go through all of these. But you know what? At the end of the day, they do lie. They lie to us about everything. And we should be forcing our government to be truthful. They work for us. What other... Let me just ask you guys a question. And we're good. I think we're off of this at this point. What else do I have here? Oh, yeah. We got to go over this. And then we have... I think that's it. Okay, yeah, we only have a couple stories left on here, so let me get that set up. But yeah, we do know that he embarrassed a lot of the talking heads of our government, and that's what we loved about him. He took basically, the way I look at it, like he took no prisoners. He didn't really care about their feelings. He didn't care about anything that they were saying or doing. He just wanted to get in here and do what was right for us because we were getting the shaft, okay? At the end of the day, we were getting the shaft. And because he embarrassed them, they decided they wanted to destroy him. They couldn't handle it. Now, we talk about all the time how our young folks cannot handle rejection. We wonder where it comes from, right? The only party that can't seem to handle rejection this day and age is the Democrat Party. Look at what they're doing to the communities to keep their elected body in place. Now, their elected body has went from law-abiding American citizens to now foreign and illegal immigrants. Those are who are voting in these elections to keep these yahoos in power. We learned of it. We realized what they were doing, and we started a mass deportation. We knew there was a reason why they were trying to import 25 million people. They were throwing as much against the wall to see who could stick, right? And they knew that whoever would stick would be new voters for them, and that's what they did. They gave people driver's license with gold stars. Remember all the hoops we had to jump through to get our driver's license with that gold star? And God forbid, if we didn't get that gold star, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of things. Under Obama. Obama brought that gold star. Obama. Right? We had to do this. This was all calculated before it had these people come in here. They have set these things up for years, and we were too stupid to play the tape through to find out why they were doing these, why they were making these laws, why were they taking these laws away. They took away the law that made our media tell us the truth. They allowed them to start propagating us, basically brainwashing us. Obama changed the law to allow our media to brainwash us. And they've been turning this Portland and Chicago into war zones. Well, one of these radical judges that are activists from the bench, we're going to start working on impeaching all of those radical judges off the bench. I'm doing work on that now. Once I start getting that stuff done, I'm going to start pushing this out to the politicians so we can start having action on this. And I know there are several other people working on the same advocacy as well. We need those radical judges off the bench, so we're working on that. But right now they're telling them that they cannot use tear gas and stuff like this. Well, now they're in court, okay? They're in court, and they're being called to court because federal officials have been called to testify before a judge over actions in Chicago, and here's what we need to know. Days before he was ordered to appear in front of the U.S. District Judge to answer pressing questions about immigration crackdown in Chicago, the City Immigration Custom Enforcement Field Director is headed out of town, and 2 other officials are set to testify Monday instead. The judge at the center of the discussion said she didn't want to meddle in who testifies as long as they answer her questions about what's been going on during the clashes with federal agents and demonstrators in Chicago. The bottom line is if anybody in Chicago or Portland touches an immigration officer, they should be arrested. Plain and simple. I'm not in with the lawlessness. I'm not in with, I could care less about these judges. I don't care about their ruling, because their rulings in many cases are voidable. They're not saturated in law. And I've been telling on mainstream media, you know, I hope the president is not following these orders, and I hope he doesn't, because they're not saturated in law. He's allowed to do what he's allowed to do, and I don't really care what federal judge, what district judge, what anybody has to say about it until it gets to the Supreme Court. Then we'll follow the rules. But they've been following the rules even with these hothead, disgusting judges. But the judges are going to be, we're taking notes. There's going to be another time when we come after these judges. We're coming after the judges. Judges, we're coming after you. We're going to unseat you. We're going to ruin your careers for what you are doing, because you don't deserve to be in the robe, and you definitely don't deserve to practice law. We're going to make sure not only are we going to derobe you, we're going to remove your law license if you have them, because we realize in some of these areas, check this out, our judges aren't even required to have a law license. That's the first problem across this country. That's how these judges are controlled. There are judges that are ruling over the law that have never gotten a license to rule over the law. Judges aren't required? Do you think that is remotely seen, that a judge is not required to have practiced in the law before ruling over the law? It seems like you would have to have some real good law experience in order to be a judge. So you can imagine my shock when I find out there are judges with no law licenses. What in the ever-loving are we doing? Just saying. Shocked. Shocked to say the least. But here we go. Here is Randy Fine. Okay, Randy Fine is a congressman. He's not my congressman. I kind of wish he was. But he's not. But he's a great congressman that looks out for not just the state of Florida, but our country. And so he's put a lot of laws and bills forth here recently because of, he's got a bill right now to end Sharia's law in the United States. He's got a bill right now that are going to be addressing whether Congress can get paid when we have a shutdown. Congress should not be paid when our employees, our federal employees, can't get paid. Who the hell do you think you are, thinking you are above our men and women that are working for us? These pigs in Congress are disgusting, and we have got to get them right. And at the end of the day, they think they deserve to be paid when our military is not. I find that appalling. I find that disgusting. I find that un-American and self-serving. So we need Congress not to be paid whenever they choose to turn the lights out for the rest of us. So Randy Fine, is he the secret weapon? Is he our secret weapon in the MAGA movement? I'm unsure. But let's listen to what he has to say.
Democrats said, we'll only let you keep the government open for the next 7 weeks if you will promise to give free health care to foreigners who are here illegally for the next 10 years. So if you want the government open for 7 weeks, you have to give illegal immigrants health care for the next 10 years. And we said, that's crazy, and we can't do that. And so we said, look, just keep the government open. We can argue, that's what we do, but you can't hold us hostage. And that's how the government ended up closing. The Democrats said, we'll only let you keep the government open for the next...
All right, let's go ahead and get these out of here. We're done with those, Now, this is going to be our last spot on what's going on around the world. Politics, our politics segment of the show. And as you guys know, we had a peace deal in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. And Hamas broke that ceasefire. They started turning the gun on their own people. And so Donald Trump, over the last couple days, basically said, if you don't stop killing people, we're going to take you out. Like, the United States is coming in, we're going to take you out. It got some people up in arms. I really don't care. I don't care at all. I don't care who's offended. If people are getting killed and we can help stop that, we're going to help stop that. And so 2 of the Israeli military was killed because of another strike that Hamas did against Israel. And so Israel counterattacked, but withdrew and tried to do a ceasefire again. It sounds like everybody is back on the ceasefire, but we have to start moving for Hamas much quicker. But this is going to be the last time for Hamas. I'm just going to let you guys know, if you guys are free Palestine, whatever, I don't really care about it. I'm all about people dealing with conflict and stuff like that. I don't think America should be involved in arguments between other countries, but when people are dying and it's allies of ours, like say Israel, we want to be good stewards of this world, but we can't have people getting murdered. Okay, I don't care where it's at. If we can stop that, then that's what we're going to do, because we have hearts and we believe in humanity. And we know that there's been a lot of people, especially in Nigeria, Christian people that are being, there's genocide going on around this world. We want to end that. But right now, we're in a ceasefire. We're trying to get peace between Hamas and Israel. And it sounds like Hamas, which is crazy, because Hamas is a terrorist organization. And for us to be making deals with terrorist organizations, I'm not surprised that they broke the ceasefire. They're freaking terrorists. It's like, it's like doing a deal with a mobster, except a mobster would probably be a little more, if you shake their hand and have a gentleman's agreement, they'll probably be more in line to follow through with the gentleman's agreement. But these terrorists, these Islamic terrorists, they don't care. They don't like us. They want us dead. Okay? And but it sounds like it's over. It sounds like the ceasefire is back on. It sounds like they're going, I don't know how many more of this, but I can tell you the United States and President Trump is not going to deal with it. He doesn't have time for it. If they want to keep messing around, he's just going to go over there, just literally destroy Hamas. That means he's going to unalive them. Okay? He's going to drop a Moab on him and be done. He's not going to play with them anymore. So I hope Hamas, I hope the people that are on the Free Palestine, side of things, I'm not taking a side one way or another. I'm just speaking how it's going to be. We're not going to be playing with terrorists. They got a sweetheart deal. That's the best we're going to do. If they can't get on board with the sweetheart deal, bye-bye, baby. Okay? We'll send you to your maker. No harm, no foul. Obviously, you want to continue to hurt people. We're not going to allow that to happen anymore. So Hamas, it's over. Either unarm or we're moving in. It's just that simple. And if anybody wants to stop, they're not going to be able to stop us. Even the Democrats, you're not going to be able to stop us. We're too big at this point to be stopped, and these people need help. All right, that is it. Thank you guys for allowing me to bend your ear on what's going on around this country. It's not good. but we're still having a lot of great things going on. You know, we still have a lot of good things going on in our world. You know, if you guys haven't noticed, a lot of our costs and gas and stuff have gone down, and I'm very, very, very thankful for the work that's going on here. So we're kind of through our jewelry heist and our political conversation, and now we're going to go over to Kaylee Goncalves Injuries. So we followed the case of, actually I think I got a video here, so let me just shut my mouth, let me shut my pie hole, and let me get our video of this. Let me shut. No, this is not it. This is not it. Where's my other video? Let me see what's on this one. Oh, my face is too big on this one. Yeah, I guess that is it. Okay, so I don't want to play that one. I thought I had one for breaking news. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to find my clips. Could have sworn I had one in here. Interesting. Oh, I know where it's at. Sorry, I remember where it's at. It's in my intros. Okay, never mind. Figured it out. Here we go. Don't mind me. Can you guys hear that?
Almost too much. Almost too much.
They're getting better again.
So that they knew enough to get in and out of the house undetected. So I'm assuming.
Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Zaina were brutally killed.
In that house, any incidences were off of here. What I find odd. Right now, this is where 4 slain victims attended school. Was an entry into that home, and I believe it was that bedroom. Collaborate, and we go across it and actually tamper it down. To go find that person and find out why that knife was. City of Mount Vernon, Washington, covering the case of the Idaho. Keep your eyes and ears open. God bless you.
I hope you feel better, Mommy. I want you to have a fun time.
On trip 1 is that 4 people lost their lives.
So that's going to be bringing up, do I have my mic up? Okay, good. That's going to be bringing us back to where we are now. So that is the case of the Idaho 4. This is 4 University of Idaho students that were out for a wonderful weekend. Kaylee Goncalves came back to the house that particular weekend before she went off to Texas to start her new life, her new job. She had just bought a Range Rover and was bragging to her BFF, Maddie Mogan, about it as they were heading out. We saw pictures of them on a Twitch account at the grub truck getting some food, chicken carbonara, as they were heading home for the evening. And they put the Murphy in Kaylee's old room, and Kaylee and Maddie decided to bunk bed together and hang out as they fell asleep. As this was the last weekend, the two BFFs would be together until Maddie graduated school and started her life and what have you. So when everybody came home and settled in for the evening, it sounds like they were all there by at least 2:30 in the morning, and by 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:18, they were all four of the 6 individuals inside that home were deceased. And it wasn't until late the next morning that this was called in. Now, people don't understand why it took so long for them to call in what had happened. It is my understanding, now whether this makes sense to everybody or not, it is my understanding that there was a lot of pranks that went on inside that home. If you guys know anything about Rush or anything like that, people have to do some crazy stuff. Excuse me. Some crazy stuff to get into these sororities and fraternities. And so there's been, over the years, hazing and other rituals that are frowned upon from universities and stuff. But at the end of the day, harmless jokes, pranks, scare tactics, those are all part of this university life. And a lot of people don't understand that this is part of that university life. And I have to assume that they may have thought it was just a prank at first. And, and it scared them. And they were, it's not the first time something like this has happened, is my point. And people are saying, oh my gosh, what do you mean it's not the first time? I think things like this have happened before, where they pranked each other or had somebody, in a scary mask or something. It's just normal. I mean, university is a fun ride. Nobody expects to go, something like this to happen. I mean, think about it. It's not like this kind of thing happens all the time. Otherwise, parents would probably be more, they should already be more cognizant on sending their children to higher education. I don't believe in higher education like I once did. But Kaylee it sounds like what upsets the family is we and they don't understand how Kaylee got the massive amount of injuries, but we're finding out that she might have been the original target. That this really, we were looking at possibility of it being Xana or Maddie, and there for a while I've always believed it was, between Maddie. At first I thought it was Kaylee. Then we learned Kaylee wasn't even staying there anymore, that this was just her coming back that weekend. And so I thought, it must be either Xana or Maddie. And the reason why I thought it might be Xana or Maddie is because Brian Koberger is a vegan, and they worked at the Mad Greek, which has vegan options. And I thought that was, the reason why he came into contact with either one or both of them. And then I thought, it seemed like when we went back into the history and sleuthed, it seemed like there was a specific window where it looked like a lot of Maddie's friends went there to give her a positive review on the Mad Greek website. And it was so overwhelmingly positive for her in such large numbers, it made me feel like something bad had happened in the store, or she had a really horrible client and she was, got yelled at or something, and her friends stepped up to the plate to give her positive reviews on their, it was something like that I saw that made me think that maybe it was Maddie. But now we're kind of back to the original thought process that it might have been Kaylee that was injured, that was the target of this of Brian. And so here's her sister, Olivia. I met with her when her sister was pregnant. Her sister was pregnant with Kaylee's niece at the time that she was murdered. So her sister went through quite a lot. As you know, carrying a baby is already very dangerous for women. You know, our bodies are built to carry it, but so many things can happen. And you're not supposed to be stressed, because when you're stressed, that stress, goes to the baby. So I can't imagine how this was for her. Oh, I emailed you new update. Thank you, Panda Bear's mom. I'll check that in just a second. Let me put a star here to check emails, and then I'll check emails, read it, and then see if I can release that today or not. Okay, check emails. Okay. Give me just a second. I will get back to you. But since you came close to the $5 mark, might as well read how much of a badass Panda Bear's mom is. Hold on, before we get started on Kaylee's injuries. Let's get you. I'm not even going to look at the cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what kind of positive affirmations you're getting today. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. And I know that's just for you, because there's been times that you feel like you're hitting your head against the wall. And I believe that you are a winner because you focus on finding information about Devlin not taking no for an answer. And, the people that are focusing on you aren't focusing on the case. So bless you for that. I find my happy place, and you go with the effing flow. You find your happy place and go with the flow. It says, you are effing powerful. You are thankful for your effing amazing life. I don't know why they feel the need to put all these cuss words in it, but you know what? It is affirmations for a badass. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And some people are really sick. So avoid them. I think this came up in Melanie's too, didn't it? This is telling us something. If this card came up twice in both of their readings, some people are really sick, so avoid them. I'm pretty sure that came up in Melanie's too. So we've got some sick people out here. I mean, this is all random, and our random pulling of cards pulled the same card twice this morning. That is, look how thick this deck is. It's not a small deck. Okay, it's not a small deck, and there's no way I should be pulling the same cards. Fancy using cuss words, Betty. I guess so. Oh, okay. So there you go. You are officially a Bullhorn Betty badass, Panda Bear's mom. So we've got Melanie and Panda Bear's mom. Bless you, love. Bless you. So I'll check that in just a second. So let's listen to what Olivia has to say. And guys, I got to tell you, this, no matter what, her family fought for her and fought for all of them. And I'm sad that what happened to them, and I pray to God in my lifetime we never have to see something like this happen. But we all know that this world's getting crazier, this world's getting more violent, and there are a lot of people in our government egging a lot of violence on. I don't see our violence issue coming to an end anytime soon until we the people demand that it comes to an end. And that's all of us. That's all of us. We've got to stop this. But again, here's what we're learning.
In regards to some descriptions of autopsy photos.
That's the loudest I can get it.
Plan to introduce as exhibits. I just wanted to.
You may have to turn your volume up.
A little bit of my perspective that maybe will help lessen some of the speculation. I need to be very clear. I'm not talking anything specifically about Maddie, about Xana, about Ethan. I don't know anything specifically about them at all whatsoever. So I can only talk to my experiences regarding Kaylee's autopsy and questions that I've had for investigators and everything like that. So I just want to make that really clear. And there's really no easy way to say this. The gag order protected an absolute fucking monster. It's disgusting, but some of the wounds that were made to Kaylee were described as experimental. So a wound that might typically, in its presentation, look defensive, might not have necessarily been defensive, because at some point he was inflicting wounds that, I mean, any logical person would know wouldn't be fatal. So I don't want to speculate on, what exactly he was doing, whether it was to, just cause pain or whatnot. But yeah, these wounds didn't necessarily make a lot of sense. They were described to me as experimental, and on Kaylee specifically, there was evidence that he continued the attack after she was no longer even fighting back. So just in light of that, just because there's a wound on a hand or a wound on a forearm or a wound on a wrist, these really, really classic defensive places, unfortunately we just can't make that assumption. And even if they were, the body reacts and there's reflexes to protect your face, your head, your neck, it doesn't mean that someone wasn't sleeping beforehand or was just briefly woken. So yeah. And also I want to add just really quickly, I don't want to fucking be doing this, but no one on the state side is standing up and giving details like this, and I get it to some extent, but it's creating like massive amounts of chaos, and I'm tired of ignoring it. So yeah.
So it sounds to me, let's listen to this.
It was late at night or early in the morning, so it seems likely that maybe they were sleeping.
So there you guys go. It sounds like Kaylee, I think we're going to find out Kaylee is the ultimate victim here. It seems like he took his time on her more so than anybody else. And it sounds like at least, well, she said she couldn't comment on any other three, only on hers, only on her sister could she discuss that with. And it sounds to me like she's tired of people not knowing what happened, because Idaho didn't want people knowing what happened. They wanted to shovel it under the rug because it's on a university campus. They didn't want to scare parents. They cared more about their reputation than they did about these 4 individuals' lives, just in my opinion. I must say 3, because I don't think Ethan Chapin's family was ever on board with a trial. They just wanted to get this, they wanted to be done with it as quickly as possible and move on. And that's what they've conveyed to everybody, that nothing that they do is going to bring back their son, and they just want to get over and on with it. Where other families didn't feel the same way, and there are 4 families. So we're going to keep Ethan and his family out of the conversations because they don't want to be in the conversations. And I'm not going to be disrespectful to him. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to be disrespectful. So we're just going to remove Ethan out. Not that we don't have some type of feeling for Ethan. It's just that I disagree wholeheartly with how his parents have handled this. And that's going to be conveyed in everything that I say and do. And I don't think it's fair to Ethan. So knowing that about me, we're going to remove Ethan from any further future conversations on this channel. Okay? His family can do whatever they need to do. It seems like they just want to get on with their lives and not ever think about what happened again. So let them go. But the other families, they still have a lot of pain residing in them. They still want to know what truly happened to their family. They're still, to this day, do not have all the answers. Law enforcement still, to this day, have not told them. And law enforcement still, to this day, have not released any of that information out to the public without having to go through mainstream media and them gatekeeping information because they don't believe this. So we don't have the pockets. Social media doesn't have the deep pockets, and maybe we need to do something about that. I'm thinking about nonprofits that I can build and fund and start getting record requests and start releasing those to the public or to the social media, so social media can start using those. I'm not sure how I'm going to design that whole program yet, but there's going to be something over the next 3 years that I'm going to be developing that's going to help social media compete with mainstream media, and we need funding and we need to be able to do record requests. So I've got to figure out how all that's going to work out, but believe me, there are things, and this is going to be an advocacy. This is going to cost this channel lots of money to get set up, because it's going to be basically the Associated Social Media Press, the Associated Press for social media, people that are journalists, independent journalists and stuff like that. They're going to have like a little, something next to their name to show that they went through the programming of social media. They're elevated, just like people that are associated with the Associated Press. So it's just going to be something, but it's not going to be something that can be done overnight or whatever. It's just something that I'm developing and will continue to develop throughout this time. So we have 2 more, because I'm a love machine. But we're gonna make sure Lisa B always gets her. How badass is Lisa B always? What is your positive affirmations gonna be today? Let's get you some goodness. Come on, good cards. Let's get it going. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got yourself 5 cards. Let's see what the universe wants Lisa B always to know. Once you fall in love with yourself, their game is over. Love that one. When life knocks you down, get back up and say, you hit like a bitch. I love that for you. Making mistakes is better than faking perfection. Ooh, that's a good one, Lisa. I love that one for you. Making mistakes is better than fake perfection. And the reason why I love that, well, you know why I love that for you. Here's another one. Even though you're anxious and afraid, you will be effing brave as always. Find a way, not an excuse. I love that. That is a deck for you, Lisa, because, I talk to you a little bit more, like you and Melanie and Debbie and stuff like that. I talk to you guys via email a lot more, so we've had conversations. So I know when the universe has a message for you. I love that for you. Now we got Veronica B. Truly. It's nice to see you. Thank you. Custrar. Well, we're gonna give you a little bonus. Okay, I appreciate the Custrar. But we're gonna see how badass you are. How badass are you? Let's get these cards shuffled. Let's do a little bit of, because we've already pulled a couple of them. Let's do the. Oops, I didn't do that well at all. Ooh, these are new cards. I don't want to shuffle well. But we barely used them. All right, let's just give it another little cut. Let's do it. Let's do this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got them upside down. How did I get them upside down? All right, let's see what we got. You're an upside down card, so I wonder if that means something. Ooh, this is the second time we've got this on this show today. You are effing amazing. Rock that shit. Ooh, I'm gonna have to read these. These came out for yours, so you got new ones too. It says, even though you're anxious and afraid, you will be effing brave as always. Here's one. You will get there. You're going to do great today. Aw, is there something going on in your life today? It says you will get there. You're going to do great today. Aw. Some people are really sick, so this came up 3 times today. 3 times today. Some people are really sick, so avoid them. This 3 times the charm, folks. This card's telling us something. I'm telling you. It's told us something. You guys watch me. This is the one I love for you, Veronica. positivity radiates out of you like effing sunshine. I love that. I love that for you. I love that for you. But this whole one about some people are really sick, so avoid them, guys, I think that's the message for this show today. I really do. I think that's the message for this show today. Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that. I love that. Aw, Lady for Justice. Thank you, Betty, for all you do. Well, we do appreciate your love and your support. 10 full months. Oh, my goodness. Couple more months, I'm going to be singing to you. I'm gonna be serenading you, honey. I'm going to be serenading you. I love it. 10 swear jars. It's hard with these things, right? You know, I read the card, I swear. What can I say? What can I say? It's the cards. It's the cards. I promise you, it's the cards. It's the cards. Oh, that was great. That was great. All right, so not good news with Kaylee Goncalves. It does give you the hint. It does give you the hint that she was targeted. She was the one that was targeted. How do we know that? I don't know. How do we know that? How do we figure that out? I don't think we're ever going to know. And you know what really upsets me more than anything else? Sing it, baby. a couple more months. I'm working on the throat now. Working on the throat now. We're going to be there. We'll be there. We'll be there. We'll be there with Marvin Brando making a debut. But I really wish, and I think this was what upset at least 3 sets of family members with this trial, because it seems to me that everybody wanted to know what happened. They wanted the truth. And still to this day, we don't have the truth in the Idaho 4. We don't know what happened. They lied to us about everything. They tried to stand there and say this was not sexual in nature. I'm sorry. There's no other explanation. Just because he didn't R them or SA them doesn't mean that this was not sexual in nature. It was disgusting. It was a cowardly move from the state of Idaho. Cowardly move. They are cowards. Bill Thompson, in my opinion, in my book, is a piece of shit. I hope he retires. I hope he lives his retirement. And I hope he doesn't get a chance to fuck up anybody else's lives again. I have no respect or regard for Bill Thompson. None. I spoke very highly of him until I got to see who he truly was as a human being. And I want shit to do with him. I think he's disgusting. I think he should have been immediately fired from his job. He shouldn't have had an opportunity. He should have been replaced by the governor. I don't care with who. Just anybody at this point. I do not like him. I don't think I ever will have a change of heart. At all. At all. Related to that. Oops. That back straight. Alright, guys, so I do appreciate you allowing me to bend your ear on Kaylee Goncalves. It's just a tragic case. Her family's still fighting for the truth and for us to understand the truth, because let's face it, when these counties and governments, they know better than the rest of us, and they leave these families like they've left this family, they're the ones having to answer these questions that the investigators should have had to answer. The families have been injured by the loss of their loved one. They have been injured by the prosecutor in the case. And then they have been injured by having to explain what happened to their loved one because the weak, spineless prosecutor, Bill Thompson, refused to do it. He refused to do it. He refused to do it. So what do we have going on right now in our country? And we've been talking about it very, very much here. And I'm just going to bring this up as passing. And this is related to the crime in North Carolina. North Carolina is starting to get attention from the Bullhorn Betty channel. I will tell you, states and counties, you don't want me, picking on your state. You don't want me picking on your state. I've got a lot of states to pick on. and you don't want to get into my wheelhouse. Well, North Carolina has now gotten into my wheelhouse. We don't cover a whole lot of cases. Tennessee is really in my wheelhouse right now. Tennessee and Kentucky, there's reasons why I want to be there. But now we have this North Carolina issue that is really, really starting to affect people in that community in a very, very a perilous way. These the law-abiding citizens there are being attacked by their own government. They're being put in precarious situations by their own government. They're being left to be murdered and assaulted by their local and state government. Their local and state government are working around the clock right now to injure their law-abiding citizens. Why do I say that? Because we're keeping watching this same courthouse sending out the most violent of violent criminals out there to their streets to hurt law-abiding citizens. If you let somebody out one time and they go out and they hurt, kill, or injure somebody, right? And you let them out again saying, okay, well, we're going to give you another shot at this, and they do the same thing. And then you let them out again and say, we're going to try this again. Hopefully you get it this time, right? Well, at some point, you would think after number 3, you would start saying, this isn't working, right? You would think that judges that are so smart, right? These disgusting people that think that they are rulers over us, which in many cases we've given it to them. Don't worry, judges. Charlotte County, I'm coming for you. Bullhorn Betty and team, because it's bigger than me. We're coming for you. We're going to derobe you. We're going to derobe you. We're going to embarrass you. And we're going to ruin your careers. I'm letting you know right now what we are planning on doing. That is exactly what we are planning on doing. We're going to be moving into North Carolina very quickly. And so we had 4 homicides in 24 hours. I want you guys to hear that again. We now have 4 homicides in North Carolina in 24 hours. This could have been your grandchildren. This could have been your best friend, your aunt, your uncle. This could have been you, folks. This could have been you. 4 homicides in 24 hours after we're now focusing on Charlotte specifically in North Carolina, letting these animals out to injure you, to injure me, and to injure our children. It is time now for North Carolina to grow a backbone and a pair of balls. Do you guys hear me? It's now time for North Carolina to grow a backbone and a pair of balls. And that goes for you assholes in Charlotte County. Because you are wreaking havoc on the rest of the country. And that is a no-go in Bullhorn Betty's wheelhouse. It just isn't. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for anybody in that community. My heart bleeds for them because I'm scared. It's literally a toss of the coin at this point. When your number's going to be up? When are you going to be assaulted? When are you going to be killed? Your policies are literally killing your community. And I just want to ask each and every person that's in North Carolina, can I get you guys to commit to changing your situation before it kills you? Because let's face it, we're dealing with policies that were voted for by another young lady. And those policies are laying her into the ground. Her family has a very grim reality of what is going on in her world because of failed policies just like this. Our next case is going to be Kada Scott in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Very blue community. Voted for low on crime, voted to defund their police, voted for all of that. This is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And now this young girl is deceased because of these policies. A beautiful girl, a beauty pageant. I don't know if she was a winner, but she should have been. She's beautiful. Young, smart, and it's sad. Too many failed policies. Absolutely. Absolutely. But North Carolina, 4 homicides in 24 hours. That's not good. That's not good. And in the same community, too. Not good. You guys got to do something a little bit better. You guys got to do something a little bit more. What used to work ain't working no more, right? It's just not working anymore. We've got to get these things done. People deserve to live without fear. Even in the most impoverished areas of our country. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you should be riddled with violence. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you should be riddled with violence. It does me too, Veronica. It does. That's why I've been beaten up. We don't talk about politics this much on this channel. We really don't. But you guys know I'm an advocate and an activist, and when shit happens and shit starts hitting the fans, I'm going to start doing what I do. You know, that's just all there is to it. At the end of the day, this needs to be drilled in people's heads. And maybe showing you guys every day what these failed policies are doing to these communities, maybe that'll help, right? Because nobody wants to think that they're going to walk out of their house and get bludgeoned or murdered, right? But right now, the state of affairs is with all these criminals being put back on our streets. It's the reality of us walking out of our house and being bludgeoned or murdered is a reality this day and age, okay? It's a reality. It is the wild, wild west in our country. How can this be? Because we've got people that want pure destruction. Pure destruction.
In the Kada Scott case.
Well, the search has been ongoing now for nearly 2 weeks, and investigators say the suspect in her disappearance may have even had more victims. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, this evening. I'm Natasha Brown.
And I'm Yuki Washington.
And I'm Bullhorn Betty, covering true crime, and this is not my newscast, but what I am going to tell you is Kada Scott was a 23-year-old woman, young, beautiful woman, that had every opportunity ahead of her, and it was snuffed out. And law enforcement nor the DA took this case seriously with what I'm finding. I am going to stand in solidarity with the community because I'm not in that community. You guys know, I don't know what goes on. I'm from Florida. I only know what I read and what I hear, right? And what I'm reading and what I'm hearing is that this community is angry with what happened, okay? And when you kind of dive into this case, you understand why they are angry. Let's just go over a few details, okay? On October 4th, we learned Kada Scott, this beautiful beauty pageant contestant, was missing. Many of us, because law enforcement wasn't taking it too seriously, it didn't appear, and therefore it was conveyed that way to the public. We did talk about this case on a variety of things, mostly of her potentially wandering, leaving her job that she had only been there for 2 weeks, going out and partying, being a young 23-something, that snuck out of work and wanted to get back to work before the end of her shift and clock back in. To be honest with you, I think I might have done that a time. I don't know. But I've done a lot of crazy stuff in my days. Maybe that's why I thought of it. Did I think about it once upon a time? Did I do it? I really don't remember and I don't know. But the bottom line is that's kind of where we, the case of Logan going to trial. What is this? Let me write this name down and we got a couple things. I got to check the emails. Let me put this in here and we'll see if we got some time to learn about this Logan. Give me just a second. We'll see what we can do about that. Thank you, Croy. It's nice to see you. Good morning. But this 23-year-old, disappeared from her work. We went through options of what it could be. We assumed that it's possible that it could be her kind of leaving with friends. We even talked about her wandering off from friends and, meeting with foul play at a third area, something like this was what they were planning on doing and something happened while she was out. We talked about those, but really we kind of felt, at least for me, I kind of felt that there was more to the story and it was kind of more lighthearted and not so serious because that's what we were getting conveyed to by law enforcement. behind the scenes. It just didn't seem like a top priority. It seemed like they believed that this woman had snuck off, but as time went on, the family started getting angry, right? And this is where we've talked about cases like this, where you have an adult missing child, and I tell you, sometimes you just have to sit in a chair at the sheriff's or the police office and just refuse to leave until they take your case seriously. We've talked about that. We talked about that at length on this channel, because sometimes that's exactly what you have to do. We've had to go down and sit with family. I've had to threaten a sheriff's office in Orange County. I think it was Orange County, Orange or Osceola, but I believe it was Orange County Sheriff's Department, that I was going to go out into the parking lot and protest and start calling people to come up and protest with me if they didn't get that detective to meet with this family. You know, it took us, and we were there for, I want to say 2, 3, or 4 hours fighting with the sheriff's department to have a detective talk to the family. It was the family of Paula Miranda Rosa. You know, they believed that she had been attacked by a gator. There was no evidence of this gator attack. We believe that she was trafficked, and because her flip-flops were at the car, the money, the car keys, everything was at her car. And there, you know, we went back to Otter Creek. We walked the 2.5 miles back to Otter Creek, and there is no way anybody can make that walk without shoes on their feet. There's just no way. It's too rough on the feet. And so we believe she had made it back to her vehicle. I mean, there was even a towel that looked draped across things like it was going to be drying. She hadn't been at Otter Creek but that day. So it did appear she made it back to her car for us. But sometimes you have to do that. And it sounded like in Kada Scott's case, the law enforcement nor the law enforcement wasn't taking this case seriously. And this was prior to them finding out Keon King was responsible for her kidnapping and now ultimately her death. She has been confirmed. The DNA did come back. It is Kada Scott that was removed from that shallow grave. And now her family has to bury her before Christmas. It's sad. And this was all preventable. And then when we find, now granted, I have a lot more respect for the DA than I did, because the DA understood they made mistakes. Came up, did a press conference, cleared the air, said, could we have done things better? The answer is yes. Did he take full responsibility? In my case, the way I saw it, no, not full responsibility. He still tried to pass the buck. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether this guy was out on bond or not. It doesn't matter whether he was out on bond or not, because they had enough evidence to pursue those charges, whether or not the victim or the witness showed up to court. They had video evidence. It was irrefutable who was at that house. It was irrefutable who took them. They could have gotten him on something. Maybe they couldn't have gotten him on all the charges that they wanted to charge him on, but they could have gotten him on something. But they didn't pursue it, and we know why. Because the witness did not show up. And so they were like, well, if the witness ain't going to show up, we're just going to throw it away. They don't care about it. We're not going to care about it. That's the mentality of these. And trust me, that is exactly, I know attorneys. They did this intentionally. That's what pisses everybody off. The victim was scared to come to court, but they subpoenaed the victim, and they were like, well, if they're not going to come to court and fight for them, then we're going to just close this out. But in the reality of it, the way the prosecutors should have looked at that case is they should have looked at it as, can we move forward with the charges without the witness? If they would have just taken the moment to ask themselves that simple question and review the case, they would have been able to present a case to move forward with. They chose not to. Why? Because I find that a lot of these prosecution offices are overworked and underpaid, and they're lazy, right? So if they don't have to do something, they won't do anything. Why? Because they have 10 other cases that people are going to show up for court. So they don't care about your case. Well, this is the one they should have cared about. Why? Because another woman ended up losing her life, because these are types of crimes that people don't change from. when they start doing these types of crimes, when they start showing up and kidnapping people, well, they're not going to change, okay? That is now their MO. They're going to continue to do that. Those types of things never change, especially when you have a serial abuser like we have with Keon. He is a serial abuser. And they didn't take this case seriously. They had multiple cases in their that's one thing they didn't want to express. This wasn't just one case. There was 2 separate cases that they had related to this guy from the same victim, but it doesn't matter. It was 2 separate cases. They chose not to try 2 separate cases. So we're going to have to start reviewing these things, especially these domestic violence things, and see, typically the way domestic violence works is because they've changed the law with domestic violence that doesn't make any sense. It's a whole bunch of work with not any results. So what they do now, if you're domestic violence, they take everybody to jail. If this person hit you and you let them hit you, then that person is the only one to go to jail. If you're like me and if somebody puts their hands on you, I'm going to hit back. Both of you guys go to jail until they figure it out. And then what they do is if they, in this particular case, they had video, right? They had video and audio that they could have used. In a lot of these cases, they don't. It's a he said, she said thing. So you really can't, if the victim is not there, you can't move forward. In this particular case, you can. So what we probably need to do is quit arresting everybody when they touch, and if you can prove it, or they do go to jail, they need to stay in jail. They need to stay in jail until they see first appearance. Anything that has any type of violence, we need to start keeping these people at least 24 hours in jail. It's going to suck because there are a lot of people that go to jail that didn't commit a crime. For example, if you were abused by somebody and you chose to hit back, well, now you both go to jail, right? So I just told you that when we came into this. Well, even the person that did nothing wrong and defended themselves are going to have to sit in jail. And that's where the problem happens. People don't want to know that a victim is sitting in jail, and so they make these things for outs. Well, the problem is our activist judges are finding these loopholes and letting people that don't deserve to be back out on the roads. And there's nothing we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. So you either have to throw everybody in jail and keep them in jail for 24 hours, or you can't. So in an abundance of caution, then I'm going to have to move and position our channel to now require people to stay in jail for 24 hours or longer, depending on how severe. I mean, anything that's a felony like strangulation, I'm sorry, you should have to be in jail until you go to court. Violent stuff like that, you can't put them back out on the roads to victimize the victims, Anyways, you guys know better. Just clearly some people don't.
District Attorney Larry Krasner updated reporters a little more than an hour ago. He addressed a question so many people are asking. Why was the suspect not tried on similar charges in a previous case? Chief Investigative Reporter Joe Holden is outside the DA's office right now with the District Attorney's response. Joe, good evening.
Yuki, Natasha, good evening. So lots of pressing questions for District Attorney Larry Krasner. Of course, our focus is also on the fact that it is 2 weeks ago tomorrow night that Kada Scott vanishes. Police now saying she vanishes because of a man named Keon King. He is charged in her kidnapping as well as stalking and other counts. Now, the district attorney telling reporters a short time ago they have information suggesting there could be more victims in this connected case to Keon King, and they are asking for members of the public to call investigators. Now, there were also many questions why charges were withdrawn against Keon King twice prior. He's now being held on $250,000 cash bail on kidnapping, stalking, and other charges. The DA said there were better decisions that should have been made. He also said the decision not to refile charges was an incorrect one, and his office has to own that. King had previously been charged with strangulation, burglary, and kidnapping. Again, charges were withdrawn because prosecutors say the victim and witnesses did not appear for hearings in those cases.
You do not. I tell you guys this all the time. In 2025, with all the videos, all the surveillance, we need more circumstantial cases to come forward. We need more circumstantial cases, not less, because we have all of the stuff. We have the videos. We have their movements. We have, if they wanted to do, they had everything they needed to prove the case. They didn't need the witness. They didn't need the witness. He's never going to be able to argue that. This is why the community is so pissed. They don't want word salad. They don't want bullshit. They want this person to stand up, which he did. You know, I have utmost respect. He took it. The buck stops with him. He said the buck stops with him. He knows that this is his office. There's only so much you can do. What can we do? There's nothing we can do. He took ownership of it. He knows that his office was wrong. It doesn't change the outcome. We still have a young woman dead. And it was a decision that their office made that can never be undone. But what can we do? We can't keep beating him up. We can't keep screaming at him. He understands that they screwed up. At what point do we allow them to fix the problem and move forward? You know, I'd like to yell at this guy too, but how can I yell at him? If he came up here and gave us a whole bunch of excuses, I would throw him under the bus like I do everybody else. But here he owned the mistake. And we hope that they do much better. But yes, thank you, Sandwich. We hope that they do better. There's no guarantee on them doing better either, right? This could just be a whole bunch of mouth vomit. Word salad. It's a whole bunch of word salad if they don't do anything to change it. But let's face it, this day and age, we do not need witnesses. We've got phone data, car data. It's how much energy and efforts do they want to actually put into getting these cases and getting these people behind bars. If they wanted to get Keon King behind bars, guess what? This team right here could have done that. And they could have done it before Kada was killed. And that's the reality of the situation we're in. You can't undo that. You can't give Kada's family back what these people stole from that family. Because they wanted to play politics. Because they wanted to be angry or frustrated that a victim didn't show up. Well, maybe if they would have protected that victim, this case would be a lot different. But they chose not to protect that victim. They chose to tell us that they protected that victim, and I call bullshit. Because I've heard this case 1,000 times. If they had the type of protection that they're trying to imply on this case for every case like this, they would be out of. They would have to hire a whole twice as many law enforcement. So don't tell me that they protected this woman, this first woman, the first victim. They did not. I don't believe that. I think that's a lie. Or maybe they're told they were. Maybe some bureaucrat said, "Oh no, we did everything we could." Let me tell you something about what happened here. I was a victim of a crime here. Not one person from my sheriff's office called me from victims' crimes until 2 weeks later. At that point, you know what I told them, as disgusting as my behavior was? Fuck off. And screw you. That's what I told them. I'm a back the blue person, but I was so angry that I had been victimized and they didn't care. By the time everything was said and done, then I get my victims counselor. Fuck you. If you guys know anything about me, whether you like my language or not, that's the way I am. I'm cool, but when I'm done, kick rocks.
The DA blamed some of this on the cash bail system. I asked specifically why his office didn't either ask to modify or increase Keon King's bail. I also asked him if his office is using any leverage to obtain information from Keon King. It will be a two-part answer. Take a listen to Larry Krasner.
You have the option of trying to do what is often a midnight or 3 o'clock in the morning telephonic appeal to a municipal court judge. The unfortunate reality of this is that some, but not all of these judges don't want you calling them in the middle of the night.
Well, then that's something we need to find. These people in robes that don't want to do their job or punish people when they need to do their job, they don't need to be in that robe. It is time for us to get a list of these horrible judges that don't want to do their job, and it's time for us to get them out and away from the bench. If they are going to play these petty pissing when law enforcement needs to do their job and they don't want to be bothered to do theirs, or it's in the middle of the night when they're on call and they were upset that they had to be called, get called or woke up, they don't need to be in those positions. Just like when I told you Ron Blanton, I watched Ron Blanton be a nasty butthole to people that came before. If you're that miserable doing your job, we got a press conference, I believe, coming on here in just a few moments. So we're gonna switch to that. That's what that alarm was. We got about 5 more minutes. We're gonna be doing a live press conference. Let me find the live press conference here. I think it's here. Okay, yeah, right here. We should be doing. DA is going to discuss the cases against Keon King right here. So we're waiting for this to get started, but until it gets started, we're going to continue to talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and keep this up because I want to hear when this does start. So since we're about to go into this press conference, let's go ahead and take a break right now and get get some beverages, maybe a snack or something like that. I'm going to use the little girls' room, and then we'll be back here in about 2 minutes. Maybe this will start on time, maybe this won't start on time, but this is the DA is going to be discussing the charges against Keon King. Again, this is the press conference, live press conference that I'll be taking on. So let's go ahead and take just a quick 2-minute break for everybody, and then we'll be back to get the latest update on this case and finish up. We still have a lot left. Everything has been timed perfectly, by the way, even to this press conference, because we were already on the Kada case. And then the last case that we're going to be discussing is the Tennessee explosion. For those that would like to be part of that discussion, that will be after this press conference. We'll have this press conference, have some discussions. It looks like we have several other different talking points on here. I don't think we need those talking points. Yeah, because we were just going to go over what was being said, because our discussion on the Kada Scott case, in all fairness, was going to be the anger that the community has with their government. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. I'm not getting into, what the government did or didn't. I can personally see where mistakes were made, okay? Just from my point, from where I sit. And it's easy to be here with a checklist and say, oh, they missed this, they missed that, they missed this. They didn't do this perfectly. It's easy for me to do that. But the reality of this is law enforcement every single day make mistakes. Why? Because they're human. Every single day you get up, you make mistakes. So if we don't beat you up on every single day, you making the mistakes that you make throughout the day, we can't beat up law enforcement every single day unless it was intentional or just negligent, right? A lot of this stuff is by things moving literally a mile a minute. Things just get dropped. But you've got to look at where, because there's just some things that is investigative 101, right? This should be drilled into. There's no reason why you should miss this step, right? There are a few things along the way that you're going to, and a big thing is the contamination of crime scenes. Crime scenes are always going to be contaminated to a degree, okay? That's the number one myth of the defense attorneys, the contaminated crime scene. Every single crime scene that I have ever observed has some level of contamination to it, okay? Hey, Strawberry, it's nice to see you. So this whole community is angry with their DA because this man should never have been out to kill their loved one. They're angry with law enforcement right here because they did not take this case seriously. That's the reality of it. They did not take this case seriously. We did not take this case seriously because law enforcement and the media were not taking this case seriously. I guarantee what we're going to find out is that her family probably had to put this case together like many of our other adult families. A good prime example of that is Caitlin Harp, right? Vinnie Harp. Her family had to go out there and find their loved one. Law enforcement didn't do it. Actually, as a matter of fact, law enforcement told him to stay off the property they ended up finding her on. So, you know, thank you, Strawberry. Strawberry is the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and use the little girls' room so we can get back here to be on our press conference. Where is my press conference? There it is. So we can be back here. We've got, let me just tell you how many minutes it's supposed to be starting now. So I've got to go use the little girls' room. I'm going to keep it on play. If it starts, it starts. I will be right back. Oh, let me get my mic.
Is everybody ready? We're all good. Thank you all for being here. Ordinarily, this would be our Monday press conference in which we focus on two different things. One of them being gun violence data, and another being a related special topic. That is not what we're doing today. This press conference is yielding to the needs and the wishes and the priorities of the family of Kada Scott in the process of addressing those needs. We will be announcing that there are new charges being brought against Keon King. We'll get into the details, but the bottom line is a second case has already been approved, and we expect there to be a new arrest today, in all likelihood, of Keon King when he is brought in from the jail. The arrest will be for burning of a car, arson, causing catastrophe, conspiracy, several other charges, and we'll get into the details of that in a moment. But more than anything, as I said, this is a press conference that I hope will in some way address some of the needs and wishes of the family. At this time, I'd like to identify some of the good people who are here. We have with us Philadelphia City Council member Anthony Phillips from the 9th Council District, who has been extremely heavily involved in addressing the family's needs, as have other city officials, but extremely heavily involved, including in a meeting with the family where I was also present. He will be talking about the efforts that his office is making specifically to address the family's needs when he speaks later during this conference. We have First Assistant DA Robert Listenby here, ADA Ashley Kozlowski of the DAO's Homicide Non-Fatal Shooting Unit, who is handling this matter in close communication with me and others, but is handling this matter. We'll be addressing some of the new developments in the case. ADA Bob Wainwright, who is her chief, the chief of the DAO's Homicide Non-Fatal Shooting Unit, is present. Mariel Dela Cruz, who is the director of the DAO's Victim Services Unit, is here. Donna Wood, who is director of DAO's Relocation Unit, is here. We have Tania Leonard with us today, who is the director of the DAO's CARES Unit. And we have Marcus Allen. Mr. Allen is the cousin of Kada Scott on the mother's side, and he is present here on behalf of the family of Kada Scott. While he will not be reading it, he will be standing with us when a statement from the mother and father of Kada Scott is read today. That statement will also be put up on the screen so that you will have the text of it. Over the last several weeks, Mayor Sherelle Parker, the Philadelphia Police Department, the Philadelphia DA's office, elected local officials as well as faith leaders and community leaders have been showing acts of kindness, support, advocacy, prayer for Kada Scott's family. Yesterday, I had the chance to visit Kada Scott's mother, father, sister, uncle, and cousins, along with Philadelphia City Council member Anthony Phillips and some other members of our team, to speak to them, to listen to and to access their current needs, to explore how the DAO can assist them and walk with them through this horrific and difficult journey, to express our condolences to them in person, and to offer resources through our external engagement operations, which include our Victim Services Unit and our CARES Unit. We also were there to provide the most recent update on the investigation, to answer their questions about the prosecutorial process, its details, its timing, and what they, as a family, can expect next in the criminal justice process. It was very important to me for them to get some details about the case, which is developing almost hourly from us, and not just from the media. And that is no disrespect to the media, but it's hard for a family to read and learn things about a loved one for the first time on a television screen or on social media or by reading an article. So we wanted to make sure that we conveyed to them as early as possible, as much as possible, so that they would have the information that they wanted and that they needed. During the sit down with the family, we made a commitment that today's press conference would be all about their daughter. And therefore, as I've already mentioned, there are certain things that we want to cover today. We want to cover a statement that is to be read and released to the media on behalf of the family, specifically written and approved by the mother and father of Kada Scott. We want to cover some recent developments within the investigation and prosecution of Keon King. We want to continue our request for the community's assistance, tips, and information that would help the investigation and strengthen the prosecution against defendant Keon King. Let's understand the community has already done tremendous work in aiding progress with this investigation. We are simply asking for more. And we also want to convey the upcoming effort to support the family of Kada Scott, led by City Council member Anthony Phillips of the 9th Council District, including the use of his office for that purpose, and we will let him speak about that. I'd like to start with the family's statement. Tania Leonard, who is the director of the DAO's CARES Unit, and Mariel Dela Cruz, Jessica Serrano, Victim Witness Coordinator, will stand with Tania, is going to read that statement on behalf of the family. Standing with them, of course, will be Mr. Marcus Allen. Although he will not be speaking today, he will be here at their request and as their presence in this moment. You should know that Tania, who was present when Councilmember Phillips and I spoke to the family, will be working collaboratively with them and with our internal and external victim advocates to prioritize critical, necessary services to support the family and communities that are impacted by this horrific killing. Tania Leonard and friends.
Okay, so it sounds like they're going to be, somebody's going to read this and the
Good morning.
going to stand behind them.
I'm Tania Leonard, the Director of Crisis Assistance, Response, and Engagement Unit here at the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. And on behalf of the CARES Unit, I want to begin by extending our deepest care and support to the family of Kada Scott during this unimaginable, difficult time. CARES was created to stand with families who have experienced this type of tragedy and to walk beside them, help them access the support they need, and ensure they are not alone in days and weeks ahead. Yesterday evening, members of our team met with the mother and father of Kada Scott at their home alongside the district attorney to offer our continued presence, resources, and support as they navigate this profound loss. At this time, with the family's permission, we'll share a statement prepared by Kada's mother and father as we stand in solidarity with the family as a unit, as victim advocates, and as an office during this journey of grief and healing. Today, we'll say her name. Tomorrow, we'll say her name. And forever, we will say her name. It is with profound sadness that we share the tragic passing of our beloved daughter, Kada Scott. We kindly ask for space and privacy at this time as we process the heartbreaking events of the past few weeks. Our hearts are shattered, yet we are deeply grateful for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers from people across the nation and around the world. Please continue to keep us in prayer as we navigate this unimaginable loss. Our hearts are broken beyond measure. We are profoundly thankful to every person who shared Kada's story, joined the search efforts, prayed with us, and stood by our family during this devastating time. Your compassion, love, and strength have carried us when we could not carry ourselves. Kada was deeply loved. Her light, kindness, and beautiful spirit will forever remain in our hearts. We also wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mayor Sherelle Parker, the Philadelphia Police Department, all first responders, local volunteers, community organizations, and media outlets, as well as everyone who worked tirelessly to help find our daughter. Although the outcome is one no parent should ever have to face, we remain thankful for the unity, leadership, and love that surrounded us through it all. As we continue to grieve, our family now seeks justice for Kada. We place our full trust in the Philadelphia Police Department and the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office to ensure that the truth is revealed and that those responsible are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Please honor Kada's memory by showing kindness and care to one another, just as she did every day of her life. With love, strength, and gratitude, the family of Kada Scott.
Thank you, Tanya Leonard. Ashley Teslowski will be, at this time, lead counsel in the prosecution of Keon King and has been working tirelessly on every aspect of the case, including obtaining a warrant that contains additional charges. Those charges include arson, causing catastrophe, conspiracy, unauthorized use of an automobile, receiving stolen property, reckless endangerment of another person, tampering with evidence. We are not done, but this is a significant development in the prosecution itself, and obviously there have been other developments already reported over the weekend in the case. It is my pleasure to call forward Ashley Teslowski, who does about as good a job as anyone I've ever seen.
Thank you. As of last night, our office approved charges, as the DA just said, of arson, causing catastrophe, conspiracy, unauthorized use of an automobile, tampering with evidence, recklessly endangering another person, and receipt of stolen property. Those charges are in reference to the burning of a vehicle. That vehicle is a 2008 black Hyundai Accent. That vehicle first entered our radar last week. Investigators received a tip that there was a vehicle burning and that vehicle had some connection to this case. At the time last week, when investigators went to the location where the vehicle was burned, that vehicle was no longer there. It had already been towed, compacted, and was in a junkyard. This weekend, we recovered additional evidence, including video evidence that confirms that this vehicle, we believe, is the vehicle that Mr. Keon King used to move Ms. Scott. We recovered video out from near the Ada Lewis Middle School, where our search and the investigator search has been focused. There's a rec center directly next to that school. Video evidence was recovered from that rec center, and we are now able to say that this Hyundai Accent was on location at all of the times we're looking at all of the pertinent points in the investigation. That vehicle was stolen on October 3rd from the area of 6600 Sprague Street. We believe that vehicle is the vehicle that was used in this case. That vehicle was then on scene at that rec center, which ultimately, as we all know, is where we found Ms. Scott's human remains. Video evidence indicates it was on location. Video evidence then indicates it leaves the location. It is burned on October 7th. It was located at the 2300 block of 74th Avenue. When this new video evidence was uncovered this weekend, investigators from the homicide unit cross-referenced all of this information with the cell phone evidence that we had already gained and we had already been using in terms of the kidnapping case and other charges. What I can share is that the cell phone evidence, the call detail records, and timing advance data as it pertains to Keon King's mobile device puts him at all of the locations that we're talking about. It's on scene when the Hyundai Accent is there at the recreation center. It is on scene when the vehicle is burned. Based on that, last night I approved those charges, and as the DA said, we should have more information in terms of bail and a preliminary hearing date, hopefully this afternoon or certainly by tomorrow.
Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate those details. Just a reminder to those in the public who have been so helpful, I think you just heard Ashley Teslowski talking about the fact that this burning automobile was connected to this case in part due to a tip from the public. I'm not kidding when I say that the public has played an enormous role here. I would ask residents of Philadelphia to continue reaching out with tips and information to seek justice for the family of Kada Scott and to allow us to have all the facts so we can justly and vigorously prosecute defendant Keon King and any other people who may have been involved with his activity. The Philadelphia Police Department can accept this information at 215-686-TIPS. In other words, 215-686-TIPS. You could also call the DA's office at 215-686-8000, and we will make sure that your information is considered as an aspect of this investigation. It is now my pleasure to introduce Philadelphia City Council member Anthony Phillips of the 9th Council District, who has been on this, along with other city officials, to include Mayor Sherelle Parker, Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel,
Good morning. Thank you, District Attorney Krasner, for your efforts to bring this monster to justice. I'm not here to talk about the monster. I'm here to talk about Kada and the family. As District Attorney pointed out just recently, we had the opportunity to meet with the family of Kada we had, quite a, some private conversation about some things that were really important to the family. And what we determined from that conversation from the family is the kindness and wonderfulness of who Kada was. And after speaking with the family, they told us some things that could be helpful to them. And so myself and our office has decided that we're going to try to support them in their efforts to help them with their needs. But before I begin, I just want to make this announcement. I just want to say that Kada Scott mattered. Her life matters. She was a kind woman. She, as the family has pointed out, Kada was kind. She was kind in how she helped support the elderly at her work. She was kind to her friends. She was kind to her family, her school teachers that she had, high school principals talked about her college administrators and staff and professors have spoken about her. They talked about her contagious joy and smile and wonderfulness. And so we're reminded that, tragedy strikes here in Philadelphia, and nothing can cease the pain that this family is going through. But what we can do as a city, and what we've been doing for the past several weeks as a city, is showing our kindness to this family. Because Kada is someone who could have been our sister, our cousin,
it was a preventable
just someone
death.
that is a friend or family member in our lives. That decency is something that we know throughout our lives, and it could have been anybody, any one of us. So I want you to know that because of that, Philadelphia cares, and because the family has asked for us to show kindness, to leave her legacy of kindness in a way that is shown and demonstrated. Today, our office has the intentions to open up a collection effort starting tomorrow with our office to collect gifts and items for Kada's family. Some of the items the 9th District Office is accepting for the Scott family during this difficult time include self-care items, toiletries, comfort and relaxation products, gift cards such as meal delivery services, or general gift cards such as a Visa gift card or other store-related gift cards. For food, non-perishable food items, these gifts are intended for Kada's mother, father, and high school age sister, a young woman. The high school age sister is a young woman who continues to show incredible strength as she strives to prepare for college amid such heartbreak. We want her to know that her entire community stands behind her and cheering her on. So if donations can be dropped off at our office, City Councilmember Anthony Phillips' office on Wadsworth Avenue, located at 1514 Wadsworth Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19150. Our office is going to be open from 8:30 to 4:30, Tuesday through Friday, starting this week. We're going to have special Saturday hours on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Where people can send their donations, bring their donations as well. If you have any questions, please call our office at 215-686-3454. This is an opportunity, again, for the city of Philadelphia to reflect the kindness. Again, I want to say this is an opportunity for the city of Philadelphia to reflect the kindness that Kada has shared. And we've already done that by helping promote and get the level of justice that she needs. But now let's show the family that we're not only there for them in that tragic moment, but we're going to be there for them after. So please make sure that we get as many donations as possible to 1514 Wadsworth Avenue, October 21st to the 25th. Our office is open 8:30 to 4:30 from Tuesday through Friday. And this Saturday, we're going to be open from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Again, self-care items, gift cards, and food and non-perishable items. Also want to remind folks that we did opportunity to speak to the family. And one of the things that the family did note to us, which is really important, is that they did say in their statement, respect their privacy. So that's why we're collecting the donations at our office, and we're going to be delivering it to them at a location that they want to be delivered to. But I want you to also know that they don't want people knocking on their doors, including members of the press, because it's traumatizing for them right now. You know, it's really traumatizing for them right now. And so we would like for folks to just hang off, members of the press to hang off for now from knocking on the doors, because that's what the family has desired. And I just, you know, we want to make sure that we, you know, we respect their wishes. All right. Thank you so much.
It's sad that they're doing
Thank
all
you so
this,
much, Councilmember Phillips.
that they have to do
All right,
all
at this time, we will go to questions. I would say this, as I look at this list, this is about as long a list of journalists as I've seen in quite some time. So, a couple of ground rules. Please try to confine your questions to one or two. If there's additional follow-up, we can try to address that later, just so we can give everyone their opportunity. Number two, these questions I'm going to ask you out of respect for the family who are present here should be on the topic of today's press conference, please. And that's not the first time I've requested it. I'm sure that you understand why.
Won't make a difference.
And to the extent that you can confine them to the topics we are addressing today, please understand this is an ever-evolving, developing situation, both in terms of investigation and prosecution. There are things that we know today that we cannot tell you. And we cannot tell you for a variety of reasons: the integrity of the investigation, safety, the trauma that the family is dealing with
that this
is not
community
best
created.
handled by their finding things out for the first time in the media. So we will try to be as transparent and open as we can, consistent with those obligations and consistent with the purpose of this press conference, which is to respect the family's needs and wishes. Channel 3 CBS, I see Joe Holden and Josh Sanders.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'll try to rattle these off, Mr. Krasner. First, can you give us any more information about the tip that leads police back to Ada Lewis? Secondly, how does she really meet Keon King, if you know? And then third, have there been any...
That's been a question we've all had.
Is out again after multiple, you know, are you retraining people in your staff?
All right, so that's
Great
three questions. Let me address the third one.
Great questions.
We are always trying to do better. We have already acknowledged, and I'll acknowledge again, we could have done better with respect to one or more of the decisions that were made in a case that was otherwise handled well. And we are looking at a variety of different options that I think are appropriate for the lessons that we have learned in this case. As for your other two questions, I'm going to ask Ashley Tizlowski to come forward to answer them for you.
So in terms of your first question about the tip, what I can share is that obviously initially we received a tip to go to a meeting last week. We received a tip to go to the Ada Lewis Middle School. Investigators went, did a thorough search. Essentially what the new tip was this weekend was go back. It was go back, she's there, look again, and they did give more specific details in terms of where to look. And ultimately that is what led us to her. I'm not going to say how. Obviously, we are investigating the tip, and we'll continue to do that, but the tip was more specific than the first. It was very specific to go back, and it was more specific in terms of where to look, and that is what the police did. And I'm sorry, your second question was? How do they know each other? I'm still not going to comment on that. It's something that is actively being investigated. Obviously, they knew each other to some extent. We believe in terms of maybe there was some cell phone communication, obviously. But other than that, I'm not going to comment in terms of how they know each other. That's something that's still, or where they met or how long they knew each other, because that is something that's still being investigated.
Channel 6 ABC, Tarhonda Thomas. Did I pronounce? My apologies. You're Channel 3 CBS as well? Yes, sir. Of course, yeah.
Just two follow-up questions. You mentioned lessons learned. I wonder if you could give the specifics of those lessons that your office learned from this.
They're not going to respond to that. Lessons learned. They're not going to want to take that kind of responsibility on them. They're just not.
So we're now getting into 5 questions from one station, but let me see what I can do for you. All right. I'm not going to get into all of the specifics, other than to say that we have already discussed in this office the value that we have seen for certain kinds of cases in specialization. It's something that we have done before in changing the way things have been done literally for decades in this office. I'll leave my comment on that point there. Your second question again, sir?
The tipster, are they related to Keon King?
When you say the tipster, you're speaking of the tipster for the...
They're not going to answer that. They're asking who the tipster
I
was.
think I know what the answer is going to be, but let me check with Ashley Tuslowski.
They're not going to answer that. They're not going to answer that.
Well, that answer is a little different than I expected. The answer is we don't know, and we are investigating it at this time. All right.
There you go.
To Rhonda, I apologize for mispronouncing.
Confirmation of
Then my
Kada.
second question is, going back to the case in January related to this, who withdrew the charges?
Who withdrew the charges in January?
The judge, make that clarification.
So as for your first question, it has been confirmed
Confirmed
that
to be
these
heard.
are the human remains of Kada Scott,
she's been
and that has been confirmed by DNA. I believe that's also been reported. There was some erroneous reporting that it was quick DNA. It was actually not quick DNA. It was the regular DNA. So that is resolved. And I'm sorry, your second question?
The second question was the withdrawal of the charges of the January case. Who deserves
Jesus. Sorry.
about the judge, the attorney's office, and just as it relates to the witness not showing up, would it have been sufficient if that witness, for instance, gave a statement to police that was on video? Or was that something that was there and not able to be used?
So Ms. Thomas, this is something we addressed previously. I'll go over it again in summary form. But this is a situation in which there were actually two witnesses. There was a complainant. There was an eyewitness. There were good efforts to have the case prepared, to contact them, to speak to them. There were good efforts to subpoena them. Nothing is perfect in this life, but that was all handled well. The case was marked must be tried by a judge at the first listing when these witnesses did not appear. Neither one of them appeared for either one of these two listings. That is a judicial decision. It is not our decision. And then on the second occasion, when these two witnesses did not appear again, the attorney who was handling this case was faced with having the case either thrown out or withdrawn. There are certain strategic reasons why it can be better to have it withdrawn. But understand, when a judge of a particular level, and here it's the municipal court, rules that this is a must-be-tried case, that, under the laws that exist, requires the second judge to throw it out if the case is not ready to be tried. As we have indicated before, I do believe that there is a way this could have been presented without those witnesses. The buck stops here. That is on me, that it was not handled in that fashion. But I also believe, as I've said before, that it's a tough situation, especially in domestic cases, when you have a defendant out of custody who's going to come in and out of the courthouse doors just like those witnesses. All right, Channel 10, Telemundo, Isabel Sanchez.
Sorry to mention this, but I'll ask you in Spanish. Si nos puede hablar de estos nuevos cargos que presentan el día de hoy contra Keon King, por favor.
Tenemos cargos nuevos. En este caso, tienen que ver con lo que pasó con un automóvil. Quemaron el automóvil. Is that the right word? Okay. I saw those eyes. I thought I got it wrong. Let me try it again. Tenemos cargos nuevos, en este caso, sobre quemar un automóvil. Esos cargos van a incluir el cargo de arson, también de auto theft, receiving stolen property, causing a catastrophe. Son las palabras en inglés que tienen que ver con lo que hizo este defendiente en cuanto al automóvil que él usó para llevar a la víctima.
My second question would be, ¿se podrían esperar más cargos a medida que esta investigación continúa?
Okay, English and Spanish.
I just ask if we can expect more charges coming out soon in regards to this investigation.
I have reason to believe that there will be additional charges that will be coming. Exactly when is unclear, and it may be 2 different groups of additional charges. But yes, we expect there to be new charges. En español, yo creo que vamos a tener más cargos. En este caso, posiblemente en 2 grupos, no puedo decir precisamente cuándo, pero van a venir en este caso. Thank you. Channel 10 NBC, Aaron Baskerville.
A lot of questions have been asked that I wanted to ask, but I got 2. Because off the top you said the second case has been approved. Logistically, is that a different case, or is that the other charges you're talking about, or is there a whole other case or another person that you're looking at that you're going to, you say second case, or did somebody, a victim, come forward? What does that mean, the second case?
When I say a second case today here, what I'm talking about is that this arson of this automobile is a second case. Please remember that these events didn't all happen in a 30-minute period of time. These happen on different days, in different places. They involve different activity. You know, the theft of a car, the burning of a car is different than a kidnapping, for example. So what is happening today is the initiation of a second case that will not only require a second set of charges and arrest, for which the defendant is going to be brought down from custody. It'll require a second bail hearing. Some of the process may occur at the same time in terms of the prosecution itself, because it's part of a larger story. But what we are announcing today in and of itself is a second case. Could there be additional cases if there are other victims who come forward? Yes, there could be additional cases if there are other victims who come forward. There could be additional cases as more evidence develops and we have probable cause to bring more charges for things that happened over this period of a few weeks.
Nobody else stepped forward so far. Other victims
I'm not going to comment on that at this
he's
time.
already said that a couple days ago that many people have been coming forward.
More of a timeline. So just in my head, there's a lot of information. October 3rd, the car is stolen. We believe Mr. King stole that car, and then obviously she disappears October 4th.
Ooh.
And October 7th, the car is found burned and I guess totally.
Great point.
At the rec center, is the car after it's stolen, or October 4th, is that the car that's used? We believe that Kada is in with Mr. King, and they're at the rec center. When are they at the rec center? In between that October 3rd, when the car is stolen, and
Sounds
October
premeditated.
7th, when the car is found burned and destroyed.
Well, I think you raise a very good point that the timeline is a little bit complex and confusing. And especially if you're talking about more than one car being used in more than one place, it's probably helpful to go through that timeline. So I'm going to ask Ashley Teslowski to come forward. And even though, we've been talking about this so quickly that we sometimes don't slow down to identify exactly what place, exactly what car, I'm going to ask Ashley as best as she can to explain this as if she were explaining to people who didn't know anything about it.
I know, like to find out that a car was taken to...
So in terms of the timeline, you pretty much got it accurate, meaning the car was stolen on October 3rd. Obviously, Ms. Scott goes missing the next day. That vehicle then, we believe, immediately goes to the rec center. We believe it remains there for about a day and a half.
Wow.
Until it then leaves and the car is burned. In terms of what the video showed or what we know about what happened there, I'm not going to comment on. I think there will be an appropriate time for those details to come out, and that appropriate time would be at the preliminary hearing when all of the evidence is presented. But in terms of a timeline, you had it right. October 3rd, the vehicle goes missing. October 4th, she goes missing. We then pick up the vehicle at that location where it remains for about a day and a half. It then leaves and is burned the next day on October 7th.
So it went 5th. 5th.
I don't want to comment about what I believe happened. All I can say at this point is what the evidence that we have, and what I can say is the evidence that we have is that Mr. King's phone is on location when that vehicle is at the rec center, and it's on location when the car is burned. That is what we know right now. We have it in the area, but we do not have it on location. That's not to say he wasn't there. All we can do is look at the cell phone evidence that we have in terms of when calls are being made and when data can be plotted, if that makes sense.
All right, let me see.
That's what it sounds like, Lisa. It sure does.
Channel 17, John Leonard. Do you have any questions, sir? Thank you. 29 Fox, Kelly Rule.
I think actually someone answered this, but the video evidence
Well, let me just note this, and then once again, I'll bring Ashley up. But you may have noticed that we're charging conspiracy with reference to the arson.
That means
Now, that's a separate place and time, but we don't bring charges unless we have probable cause.
Conspiracy
Let me now ask
requires
Ashley
more
to
than
come
one
forward.
person. They require more than
My
one
answer is
person.
essentially going to be the same thing, right? I mean, obviously, we did charge conspiracy, so at this point, we do have reason to believe that other people may have been involved after the fact, but in terms of who those people are and the level of their involvement, I'm not going to comment at this time. It's very much still being investigated.
More charges, more arrests.
Car was towed and impounded. Is it believed that King had anything to do with that, or that was just the community making calls saying like it was part of it?
There was a 911 call that a vehicle was on fire. So police did respond to it. The fire department responded to it, ruled it an arson, and then at that point, when they were finished with their investigation, the car was demolished. It was burned, so it was taken and towed and compacted and yeah.
Demolished before they could pull evidence from the car.
Yes. Well, and I'll say when we got there, it was completely compacted, right? What the tow company had already done or what the junkyard had done had already been done. With that being said, the car had been completely burned. And in terms of being able to tell what happened, the fire department was able to say it was an arson, and we're also able to have video to kind of piece things together. So there's no question about what happened. We were able to determine that.
So the answer is yes, there is a death penalty, but there's a moratorium, so they're not actively.
All right, let me see.
seeking death.
Kristen Johansson, KYW.
Two questions. One's for Ashley. How does the car play in the gold Camry play in then to this whole? Because we're gonna have to say something about the gold car.
Yes, so what I can say at this time is that at the point where the Hyundai Accent is on scene, on video at the rec center leading up to all of the events we're talking about, the other car, the Toyota, is there as well, and we believe the people in these vehicles are working together.
Okay, there's the conspiracy right there.
How much, as far as volumes, how much surveillance video is it? Because I know there was a.
Now we know why so many people had direct information about this case that could lead these people.
We have extensive amounts of video information at this point, and it's still being retrieved as we speak. And I expect there will be more. It is a lot of video. What I can say is that initially when the video was recovered, they were reviewing it kind of in real time as it was being recovered, and that's the information I'm basing this all off of today. There will be more, and there is more, and their detectives will continue to go through all of the video. It's a lot of video.
And then for District Attorney Larry Krasner, there's obviously been a lot of criticism of your office and how your office handled this case, but also additionally how bail was handled in general. What can you do to ensure, or I guess ensure the public, or there's probably a better word there, ensure the public that there's not another Kada Scott that's going to come out, that there's not going to be another kind of case like this, where
exactly.
Case is withdrawn, it's violence against women, case withdrawn, bail was not, appealed immediately. It seems that you're putting the blame on the judges for that. How can you ensure that there's not going to be another Kada Scott?
Well, actually, I think it was pretty clear that I wasn't putting the blame on the judges. I think I was pretty clear that I was blaming the existence of cash bail. And systemically, we all have to try to do better. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania should stop making money off of bail.
Amen.
And they should go to a system that is much more effective, one where truly dangerous people remain in custody. And that has worked for more than 3 decades in D.C., and that is about 12% of defendants. And where the rest of those defendants are not required to pay money, because for the most part, they face much less serious charges, and the only reason they're in jail is because they're broke. The bail system is broke.
Yeah.
That should be fixed. That was not a criticism of individual judges. That was a criticism of that system. What I can tell you is that the buck stops here. We recognize that there are some things that could have been done better in this case. From the moment this occurred, we have been looking at ways that we can improve our systems, because we have to be open to systemic change as well, and we will have further announcements about that in the future.
Congress has to change that. Congress has to change that.
We are actively looking at ways that we can do better. It is, it's everybody's view of this is always clear when you're looking back, and you have fuller knowledge, nobody's view is quite as clear. Whether it's a judge setting bail or it's a prosecutor making a decision, nobody's view is quite as clear earlier. We need to try to change that. We need to try to find ways to be better at making sure that there are as few errors as possible and that there is as much protection as possible, especially in the current environment women face. Jesse Bunch, Philadelphia Inquirer.
So this is also about how prosecutors handled King's prior cases. We're seeing a warrant was signed on King's second case, the kidnapping charge on January 19th. And then King would be arrested and charged with that 7 months later. But in February, King would have had to appear in court for that first assault case from December. So I'm asking, why wasn't King taken into custody in February at the CJC if he had that open warrant out for the kidnapping charge?
I have to admit, I lost track somewhere in the middle there, and I don't say that to be in any way dismissive. Can you just say that again, please, so I can make sure that Ashley and I hear your points?
So for King's case in February, for the charges from December, in between them, there was a second case open against him, the kidnapping charges from January.
So they had another case December, then there was a new case in January. Why wasn't he arrested in February for the
At least my
kidnapping?
understanding. So we're just wondering why then was he not arrested and charged until April?
Let me see if I can help you with that.
So she has no details. I just heard her response. I can hear her response. I don't think she has the details of that.
So what I was just sharing with the DA was, in front of me, I don't have the date that warrant was actually dropped against Mr. King. I don't know if you have that or if you're just assuming that there was a warrant at the time, because I know he wasn't arrested until closer to April, and I believe the warrant was closer to that, but again, I don't have the date that that warrant came through, meaning I can't stand here and say that that warrant was active at the time he appeared. I don't have that in front of me.
We saw January 19th.
I'm not saying you're wrong, I just don't have it in front of me. You know, in terms of when the warrant came through, I don't know. But obviously, once he was arrested, bail was set at that time.
All right, let me see. Tom McDonald, WHYY.
I know you don't have a specific timetable, but
Tom
in
McDonald.
cases like this,
There's a Tom McDonald, an American
how long does it usually take
singer.
for the results for the autopsy to move forward so you can charge?
I think that's a great question. I'm just trying to, consistent with our need to protect certain information and provide certain information, I'm just trying to figure out how much we can say to answer that. If you don't mind, I'm going to huddle up with Bob Wainwright and with Ashley Teslowski.
So it sounds like they're trying to give as much information as possible without giving the integrity. I've never seen them do a press conference like this. So clearly, they are hearing the concerns of their community, which has been very brutal to them in the quest of finding out what happened to Kada, because everybody can agree that this should never have happened. This man should have been behind bars. We're in a situation like this. They know they screwed up. They're trying to help this family as much as they can. Nothing's going to bring their daughter back. Nothing. But I'm glad to see them working like this and getting together and trying to get the public as much information lawfully allowed to be provided. This is a good thing.
All right, to answer your question, how long does it typically take? It typically takes a short amount of time when the incident happens and the body is found immediately afterwards. Cases like this, it may take longer. So there's really no exact answer to that. And what we all know is that Kada Scott's human remains were found 2 weeks after she went missing. So it is not, there's no, what I can tell you also is that the medical examiner's office is actively working on this, and we're waiting on a cause and manner of death, and we should have that information as soon as possible.
But you're preparing homicide charges.
I think that's a fair statement.
All right, let me see. Sherry Stone, Philadelphia Tribune.
I guess it's too
What I can say is we are not in a position to convey that information at this time. There is a very serious forensic effort here to get it right, and we don't want to get ahead of that, but as soon as, consistent with the family's needs and wishes, as soon as we are able to confirm precisely the answer to that question, it will be communicated either in a courtroom or in terms of press availability, once again, in consultation with the family.
They're not going to want to release the manner of death right now.
Jack Tomchuk from the Metro. Well, I will say this, I am confident that homicide charges will be brought, but I also have an obligation to follow the law and uphold the Constitution, and that means we don't take shortcuts. We don't make assumptions. We confirm all the facts before we figure out the legal conclusion to be drawn. So we will be proceeding with homicide charges when we can very precisely confirm everything we need for probable cause, and we will do so as quickly as we can once we have confirmed what we need to establish probable cause for that particular charge. All right, Mr. Dean from the Trace. Right. Well, let me just be clear. I mean, blame is a word people seem to like. I have not been a fan of cash bail from the beginning because I think it endangers the public. I have spoken about this going back almost 7 years, and I am aware of the reasons that it continues to exist in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They're not wonderful. Let me put it that way. That is a truth. I hold that truth. And I think it would be a great advance if this state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, would get away from cash bail and go in the direction of no cash bail, where some people, no matter what their resources, are going to be held because they're a danger. I wish we would go that way. So I do hold that truth, but I also hold the truth that we can do better, that we should try to do better every day, that even though many decisions, many aspects of the preparation of this case were solid, that there were other aspects of the preparation of this case where we could do better.
Like it, Lisa.
So I say the buck stops here because in an office of 650 people, it is my responsibility. If there is an attorney who makes a decision, and if that decision is not the best one that could have been made. Yes, sir.
Well, your critics will say this is exactly what we've been talking about for the last 8 years. Very grassroots. Bungles cases, criminals at the revolving door. There's office with criminals coming in and going out back on the street. This is exactly what they're talking about. And you're running for re-election.
Ooh, they're bringing up re-election.
Should people consider that how this case was handled?
Ooh. Heads are going to be rolling this election.
Well, your question is fundamentally political, and I'm not allowed to answer political questions using city resources. It's an ethical violation, so I will respectfully pass on that question. Dan Horan from Philly FPV. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
One question. You guys stated that the car was there for about a day and a half in between the elementary school and the rec center. Does King's mobile phone data show that he was also on that location for that duration of time?
Let me bring up the expert here.
They're bringing in a lot of stuff, I think, goes
So
to the
again, I'm not
interest.
going to go into specifics about what occurred during that time. However, what I could tell you at pertinent points in the video where we believe he was there, his cell phone evidence also puts him there. So it's not the entire time, but at the pertinent points where we're looking for him to be there, his cell phone puts him there, if that helps.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounded a little too much. too much into the
Michaela Althouse, Philly Voice.
integrity of the investigation. I thought that was a little too much.
So charges against that, as you said, have been refiled. It is listed for its kind of first preliminary hearing listing after the refile on November 4th.
November 4th is when they're...
Mr. Cipriano, big trial.
Mr. President, 4 years ago, when you were running for re-election, your office failed to prosecute a domestic abuser and eventual murderer of a Hispanic mother.
Ooh, it sounds like there's some political people in here.
Mr. Cipriano, questions are about this press conference, not about your wandering view of the planet. Do you have a question that goes to the subject matter here?
He's feeling the heat. I have a funny feeling he's gonna be reelected, or not reelected, but replaced.
Comparing them to Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. By their incompetence, inexperience, or ideology goes, but your rhetoric are directly responsible for the death of promising black female Kaylee Scott. How many domestic violence murders does the city have to endure, sir? How many more grieving families will have to go through the same?
Good. I like this guy.
Before you again, you're a failed civil rights lawyer, not a prosecutor.
Sir, putting aside your wildly disrespectful approach to what's happening here, your complete absence of kindness and compassion,
Look at him behind.
which is
That's
exactly
the family. He's
what is
nodding his head.
contained in this request from the family.
Kada's
Putting that
family
aside,
right there, nodding his head
I will
back
bring
and
you
forth.
back to this.
Good
Please honor
job.
Kada's memory by showing kindness and care to one another, just as she did every day of her life. Thank you, sir.
He agreed with that man, though. He agreed with that man.
Yes. Where do you go?
Oh!
Did you have to wake up at 3:30?
They didn't even finish the press conference.
Woken up at 3:37 in the afternoon. Who'd you have to wake up?
Oh my God! They ran off the DA. They ran off the DA. Holy smokes! What did we just witness? That man does not. I'm sorry, folks. If he can't handle the heat in his own kitchen that he created and do it with a smile on his face, he doesn't deserve to be in that position anymore. He just ended the press conference because he had some tough questions to answer about his upcoming election, and he didn't want to answer it. And while I respect it, that man was hitting very hard. How many more domestic violence murders do we need to have before you guys start taking this seriously? How many people do we need to bury? And they ended the press conference. The uncle was standing behind him, nodding his head. He knew he was on to something, and that DA did not want to have to answer those tough questions. Folks, we look at that. This is not who you need representing you there. He created it. I get it. The buck stops with him. I appreciate him taking ownership of that. But taking ownership of that is taking ownership of that. That means fielding these questions too, not just saying, hey, we made mistakes, we're sorry. At the end of the day, there is a woman, a young, beautiful black woman that lost her life because of politics in your county that you don't want to answer to. And sad, but clearly even the uncle agreed with what that person was saying, and for that DA to be done. I mean, I do appreciate, I had just sat there and said I appreciate the DA trying to get us the information, and I don't think he handled it. He appeared rattled. He appears that he's concerned for his upcoming election. He appears that this does look bad for his election, and he is probably trying to salvage his election. So we know somebody at least is going to be up for re-election here shortly. So if he's ending press conferences and not wanting to answer the tough questions, then I'm sorry, he doesn't seem like he's a good fit for that particular position. So let's go through some of the notes that we've learned. here, and then we'll get back on track, and then we're going to, because this took a lot longer than I anticipated, I'm probably going to have to speed through some of the stuff on our Tennessee, which there's not a whole lot there. I just wanted to give you an update, but we're kind of we're well past our time to be over here. We kind of extended because we're covering so much in our lives now that we're expanding them from 1 hour, and then we expanded them to 2 hours. Now we're past 3 hours trying to cover all of this stuff. But it sounds like they are opening. They got approval for a second case. They will probably most likely commingle these cases together for one trial. They may keep them separate. We don't know how. Bail is the problem, but it's not the whole problem. I think bail is a good portion of it because they're letting these people back out. Violent criminals back out on the road either with low bonds or no bonds. That's not cool. That's not cool. But it sounds like he has been charged with arson. There was something else I wrote over here. Receiving stolen property, cause for catastrophe, the conspiracy. We were going to talk about the conspiracy, but he hit on it in the press conference when they started asking about the other people, because I was going to say you can't have a conspiracy unless you have 2 or more people. So that tells us, that conspiracy charge tells us that there might already be, guys, we weren't looking for anybody, and we weren't monitoring. Like every time we have cases like this, we start monitoring who's getting locked up in jail, There's conspiracy charges here, so they may have already had some people like Austin Drummond. Let's look at Austin Drummond's case. Austin Drummond, similar situation where he had a bunch of people helping him. The conspiracy charges were there. Well, they ended up arresting his co-conspirators before they started arresting him, because it was the co-conspirators that were giving law enforcement the information about what was going on. What if we don't know, and what if they're withholding that they already have his co-conspirators in jail? Who's been monitoring? Who's been arrested? If you know anything else for this area, if you know of other people that knew Keon King that are sitting in jail right now and are sitting in jail since October 4th, so that means October 4th going into October 5th, that's when Kada disappeared, okay? So we're looking at anything from the 6th on, okay? So we learned that this new car, because another one of the charges are arson of the car, the conspiracy, unauthorized use of a vehicle, receiving of stolen property, and the car that was burned was a 2008 black Hyundai, which was stolen on October 3rd, a day before she was kidnapped. On October 4th is when she was kidnapped, and on October 7th, 3 days after she was kidnapped, it was burned. Now, what I did find out is that car was there for a day and a half. So if it was removed on the 7th, that means it was there on the 5th. That means he probably didn't go straight there to that community to unalive this young lady. And because it was a stolen vehicle and it was stolen on the 3rd, there's something that could be had from this. Now, did they steal it for this particular crime, or did another thug in the area, a jitterbug, steal this and he knew about it and just happened to decide to use it after he kidnapped Kada? Because it seems like he kidnapped Kada in the 99 Toyota Camry, but the stolen black Hyundai shows up on the scene out in front of that rec center. It appears like sometime on the 5th. But it could have been that night. I don't know. If it was that night, it makes me wonder why. So they're basically blaming the bail issue, and I don't believe that is the case. They were approved for the second case, burning car conspiracy, but they are also looking for some donations for the family, self-care items, gift cards, food items. Her younger sister, which is still in high school, has some things. This has got to be very hard. A lot of people think that, and I always hear this every time after a family is going through a struggle, oh, they're just trying to make money. Look, when you, and I know that many of you people, not on my show, but some of the people that are watching this that I offend regularly, I'm going to offend you again because you assholes have never lost a child. You don't understand what it's like not to be able to think or even function. I've watched families go through pain that is only compounded by these idiots out on these streets, abusing them because they need help. I can guarantee Kada's mom can't think, can't sleep, can't work, probably doesn't even give a shit about her job, doesn't care about whether her family, it's just the mentality. You are broken. You are broken. You are severely broken. And then when you hear the details, especially of this case here, where this guy shouldn't even have been out on the road, if it wasn't for those damn policies in that very blue community, and I'm not going to stop saying that, because this young woman should have been there, if not for the bleeding hearts of the Democrat Party that likes to put more weight in the criminals than the law-abiding citizens and the victims of these criminals. This beautiful lady that has lost her life because of the political makeup of this country, the disgusting, sick political makeup of this country. Screw the Democrat Party. Screw their Democrat policies. Have what you want to say about me? Screw them. We cannot function in a society like this. We can't. We can't. I hope that DA gets fired. I hope everybody gets fired. Replace them with somebody that wants to fight for you. Replace them with somebody that's strong and tough on crime. This is the result of crime reform that caters to the criminals. You guys understand that, right? I mean, you do understand that. I'm not trying to be offensive, but sometimes it's just hard not to smack people upside the damn head and say, do you not see this is your problem that you've created with your stupid laws? Poor girl. It angers me. It angers me. It angers me. Well, this is what I can say. Is all these crimes, this crime wave that's going on, and us identifying what the problem is. These crazy ass judges, these sick, twisted, white liberal judges, that's what it is. Listen, Malcolm X, I don't give a rat's ass. Malcolm X doesn't like white liberals, okay? I don't like white liberals. I think they are a cancer in this country. Don't be a white liberal. If you're a white liberal, go get help. It's called counseling, okay? They can fix your brain. They really can. They can make you likable. They can make a man want to be around you more than 5 seconds, okay? Because most of people that are white liberals are miserable people. Why? Because nobody wants to be around them. Why does nobody want to be around them? Because they're sick in their head. They think what they're thinking is okay when it's not. Like, if you don't get along with them, they want to put a bullet in your head. These people aren't right. Do you understand that? These are the white liberals of the Democrat Party, whether you want to admit it. I don't have a problem with Democrats. I work with Democrats very well. It's the portion of your party. And you're being painted with a broad brush because of this disgusting portion of your party. We were painted with a broad brush too when we had the neo-Nazis in our party, right? We still have neo-Nazis in our party, but many people know that the real Republicans don't want them in our party, but we have no control, right? Our neo-Nazis pale in comparison to the amount of white liberals the Democrat Party has, the white liberals that want to see bullets in all of our heads. And we've got a situation here where, had it not been for some of these liberal policies, this young black woman would be alive. And that's the reality, okay? Whether you like it or not, you can hate me, you can call me any names, all you want to. Doesn't change the facts, right? And you can kill the messenger, you can put a bullet in my neck, you can put a bullet in my head, and it's still not going to change the facts. It's not going to change the facts. These policies are what killed Kada Scott. You're never going to take the evil out of some people. That's why we put them in jail and put them behind bars. Because we are realistic. We're not idiots with marshmallows for brains. Those are the white liberals, okay? We know that evil is going to exist, that we can't, keep evil out of jail and live peacefully. We have to put evil behind bars and lock it away for us to live peacefully. And I pray to God we get back to that. There was one time this was not a talking point. This was not a wedge issue for the party lines. We all wanted, safety. We all wanted bad guys off the streets. When did that change? I'm just trying to figure this out. Folks on the Democrat side, please send me an email. Explain to me this. Riddle me this. How in the world can anybody want violence put back on our streets? Oh, which reminds me, I need to read something else. So before we get moved on to the last segment of this is kind of it where we are. You guys know how I feel about this. I'm trying to be fair with law enforcement because I know people make mistakes, but this was a big mistake that cost a young lady her life, and that's just unacceptable. And it's sad, and there's nothing we can do about it now. Like, the damage is done. It's a day late and $1 short for all apologies, right? We know that, everybody knows that, but it is what it is. Now, we know Panda Bear's mom has been keeping us up to date on Devlin Tate, and we don't really cover the Tate case too much. We do talk about it, show his face and stuff like that, but since she sent it to me this morning, I didn't want to forget it, so I went ahead and pulled it up, and I wanted to make sure that we read this. So it says we didn't hold on a second. Oh, so it looks like they're okay. We might have. I wish you would send. It's hard for you to send stuff to me by. I know it's easier for you to send stuff to me by my phone, but it makes it very much difficult for me to put it up on my screen when you send it to me by phone. So we'll have to go over that later. I'm going to have to play it, but let me just move over here and then we'll jump back to it. It says we didn't have anything to do with him disappearing. If we knew, so this must be coming from Devlin's family. I don't know who Sabrina Host is, but it might be her. I'm sick and tired of hearing how we need to be investigated in Devlin's disappearance. I absolutely believe that the mom and the stepbrother need to be investigated. Period. So they can come over here. If you guys want to go on help to find Devlin Tate, you can go and tell Sabrina that Bullhorn Betty's pushing for that. If she's got something to say, she can come over and speak to me about it. We didn't have anything to do with him disappearing. If we knew where Devlin was, we wouldn't be contacted different resources and wasting their. Yes, you would. Everybody that's covering up a crime wastes everybody's resources. So this falls on deaf ears. Different resources and wasting their time that could be used to searching for someone else's loved one. Yeah, when you murder somebody, you want everybody to think you didn't murder them. So you're going to go through the processes. But our loved one is our loved one is missing. And we want our loved one to come home just like any other family. I've seen so many missing people posts. I love how they always say, oh, look at all these other missing people. That always tells me a red flag. I've seen so many missing people's posts in the last 6 months, and never have I seen so much hurtful. Well, welcome to the, yes, there's been a lot of hurtful comments. I've been in this business for 5 years. I've been harassed for 5 years for doing the work that I do. And never seen so much hurtful comments, bashing, unhelpful bullshit like I have with Devlin's case. It doesn't help that Devlin has a biological mother that doesn't know anything about Devlin or the life we lived. So what? So you're going to blame a mother that had. This is the kind of crap the family has something to do with it. If this is from the mom or anybody associated with that family talking like this, then this is not what normal people do. So I absolutely believe that this is red flag just all through this thing. I can just go through here and list out why too. But one thing I can say is I'm sick of all the lies that are being broadcasted, but ain't no one asking for the truth. Well, because you'll probably lie to them. Someone knows something, please bring information to the police. Please rethink. I miss my nephew and want him to come home. So this is a family of a family, so that explains it. So there are some other stuff here, just to let everyone know. The bio mother's home was searched and never denied them access, of course, because he's probably not at the biological mother's. It looks like the brother, the stepbrother, probably got into a tiff with him. It looks like the stepbrother's pretty big and mean and could have done something to him. So, whatever. Okay, so what's this video of people at the scene? I don't know what you're trying to show me here, the Real Me Too, because it's not opening like it should. It's just sending me to that videos of people on the scene, and word is his brother helped him out. So it sounds like Keon King has a brother, and it sounds like the conspiracy might be the brother. That would make sense, but usually it's some thug, you know, somebody that you're slinging to. You have them do the grunt work. At least that's been in my experience. You know, I'm not immune or uneducated in that realm of things. I'm not going to put these back on because we had such a long press conference there that was kind of insane. The press conference that the DA did, I think he just heard his possibility because he got rattled. He got rattled. He didn't. It was now starting to come down where. And that's what they don't like. You guys remember when they started trying to push us out from Leilani Simon's house, it was when we had a lot of people and we were telling them to start voting their mayor out. You know, when you start getting political, they'll shut you down. They'll try to silence you quicker than anything. That's why you got to, like in Georgia, it was okay because I had a pro bono attorney there. An attorney that was that wrote, you know, not doing a whole lot. He wasn't going to come and bail me out of jail if I went to jail, but he was there helping me with some diplomatic concerns that I had with the chief. If you guys remember, there was a big, even after we left the area, I was working on getting the chief, you know, fired. And so what they ended up doing is replacing the sheriff because the Chatham County is corrupt. They need to get rid of their mayor, another freaking soft on crime bullshit, another bleeding heart freaking piece of shit chief of police. I get so sick of them. I get so sick of these people that have been in law enforcement for a long time and they just let people walk over them. They don't care about really enforcing the law. They want to be liked, not law enforcement. I can't stand law enforcement like that, you know. I'm out here fighting. You know, people like me because I'm out here fighting. You know, it's not that I'm the nicest person in the world. I'm the first person, if somebody gets under my skin, I'm the first one to tell you to go F off. I mean, you know, so it's like I don't understand how these officers are not like that. Because it was officers that got me like that, right? When it comes to this stuff, you've got to keep your eye focused. You can't let anything deter you. And so in a situation like this, we do. So I don't know. Devil and Tate, in my opinion, has met with foul play, and it's a lot closer to home because always somebody that they know. I mean, they just don't take off, and they've been here for 18 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, one day we wake up and something in 18 years is different. Doesn't happen like that, okay? It just doesn't. You can wish and hope it does, but it still doesn't make it so. So anyways, we learned that a place in Tennessee went kaboom. 16 people lost their lives. We're all kind of reeling from it. We're all kind of trying to figure out what happened. We're all trying to make sense of everything that we've seen in Tennessee. Tennessee has come under heavy scrutiny and fire from our channel. They came under heavy scrutiny and stuff from our channel for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. But mostly for the fact that they have a problem arresting parents and trying parents for murdering their children. That's the first thing. Tennessee just apparently doesn't believe parents murder their children in the case. And then they further don't believe in the citizens of their community to bring circumstantial cases. They think their citizens are too stupid. And it's really sad how disgusting Tennessee has turned out to be. I'm getting to the point where I don't like Marsha Blackburn. I don't like Bill Lee. I'm going against my own people in this state. Likewise, in Kentucky, there is a lot of backwoods corruption in the state of Tennessee, and I don't like it, and I want to put it into it. And the only way I can put it into it is getting in there and fighting. And that means bringing my name, bringing my the weight, my political weight, which you guys don't bring political weight. You guys bring advocacy for my true crime, but I bring political weight with me. And we've got to go into these communities and get them changed. And that's what I do. When your community starts affecting me here in Florida, you're going to start seeing me come into your community. You don't want Betty coming into your community, then make sure that I'm not affected by your policies. Just that simple. I won't be in any community where I'm not affected by their policies or my people aren't affected by your policies. But right now, especially Kentucky, Rand Paul and Tom Massey are obstructionists, and they're obstructing everything I need to have done, and I'm one of millions of people. So I can tell you they have millions of people trying to unseat them right now, and we are going to help put that push in Kentucky, so we will be in Kentucky. But we also need to be looking at North Carolina. North Carolina has been putting violent criminals back on the street to wreak havoc for the law-abiding citizens. All it's going to take is one person getting hurt from Florida. And they're going to have a bigger problem than they know what to do with, because at that point, I'm going to be moving in, and I'll be moving in with a lot of political capital. Just saying.
Tell you as of now, currently, we have been able to positively identify 14 of the 16 through TBI and utilizing
I'm getting through it. Don't worry about
the
it.
equipment that they have on site.
The good news is that was the last update that we have given you guys on Tennessee. This is the Tennessee explosion that happened at AES in McEwen, Tennessee. Okay, come here if you need to get up here. I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I'm going to get through it. Come on, I'm going to get through this. You got it. And so now it has been confirmed all 16 individuals have been now identified, okay? One aspect of this case that we are not, hold on, sorry Delilah, that we're not realizing is this factory provided explosives to our military. And so now we're not realizing that this factory exploding, like there's not a whole lot of people that can just handle explosives or have authority or the right licenses. And I mean, you got to think that something like this is highly regulated, right? You think that when you go to a dentist and the stuff that makes teeth, the filling of your thing is highly regulated. Talk about explosive making and those types of substances, highly regulated. Not too many people have licensure to get the kind of products that this Tennessee plant has the licensure to acquire. So now it's starting to affect our U.S. weapons production. We don't even look at it like this. First of all, we've got our country shut down. We've had this thing explode. We have weapons production issues, and our military isn't getting paid. If right now, if something bad were to happen, we might be sitting ducks. And so we know that the family of a 9-year-old girl, Jeremy Moore, he was a 37-year-old man that was involved in this blast. His 9-year-old daughter, went to his mother's house, and he went to work, and shortly after he arrived at work, the explosion happened. He lost his life. His daughter is the first of many wrongful death lawsuits being filed. It sounds like Jeremy Moore and the 9-year-old daughter's mother had a great functioning family plan and worked well together in raising their daughter, even in separate homes, which is good, because I was wondering why he was a single dad, but it doesn't sound like he's a single dad. It sounds like they work together and, whatever. Well, those are the first lawsuits being filed. I don't know the direction of those lawsuits now or of any other lawsuit, but I haven't heard of any other lawsuit coming out about this yet. I anticipate them, at least many other cases, going to be going forward, but you have to remember, I think this was the youngest victim. They wanted to go ahead and get this started early because this is going to be one of the families that are affected the most. I'm not saying that the other families aren't affected the most, but most of these other families were from older families and their children were already adults. Jeremy Moore had a 9-year-old daughter, a very young daughter that doesn't understand these types of things, that now has to live life without her dad and very much a dependent of her father. So that's where that problem is going to go. And we've got a couple of other things going on here, but we're so far in our day, I can't really get to them right now. We're going to have to end the show where we're at. I will get to them later this afternoon. We will go over this video behind me and getting us up to date on this. I'm sorry that the press conference for Kada took so long, but I'm glad we got an opportunity to see that live as it was happening. That was, in my opinion, a little more important. But I do have to take Delilah out. I know you all have to get going with what you guys have going on. We've been going now for almost 4 hours, so it's a lot for one show. So what I'll do is we're going to go ahead and kill the show here. We will be back here around 4 o'clock this afternoon for our evening show if you guys would like to participate in that. We're going to be doing this thing. If you guys do $5 or more, I will be reading 5 cards about how badassery you are. We'll probably be doing something a little bit different with that as that develops a little bit, but I'd like to do something a little fun each and every day that gives you guys a little pep in your step as you guys get ready for work or just get on with your day. So anyways, guys, you have a great day. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless.